What is going on, everybody? It is episode 515 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I don't know about you, but I am so excited to see Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom
So
tonight.
Excited!
How do you feel, Brett?
Oh my God, like seriously, I've been
on
counting
the edge
down.
of your seat.
Look, I know that most people in December, they put Christmas on the 25th and they start counting down the days until Christmas, but not me. I was like, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I can't wait to watch Amber Heard for 2 hours. It's going to be so much fun.
This is the best day of my life. I'm killing myself tomorrow. That's a joke, YouTube.
It's just, that's not going to happen.
That was a joke, okay? Anyway, Phil is here with us today.
Hi, everybody. My name's Phil. I sing for All That Remains. How are we today?
Well, because we're going to see Aquaman. We're so happy.
This is the highlight of our lives. Everything is downhill from here.
Is this the third Aquaman movie or second Aquaman movie?
He's been in other movies, but you know
Yeah.
Jason Momoa shirtless. Who can say no, right?
He is not going to be saving this movie, and he's a very, very popular, likable actor that people enjoy going to see his movies, but I don't think they're going to go see this one.
He gave like an interview recently where he basically says, yeah, it's not looking good.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes. Yeah, we talked about it on
What
here.
did he say?
He basically said, he's like, yeah, like I'd like to do more, but it's not looking good, judging by the way things are right now, which means they have no faith in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't allow him to say that right now.
What he was saying is, I'm not going to do another Aquaman movie because they're taking the whole franchise in a different
But
direction.
if it made $1 billion, they'd probably make an exception.
Really? Would they?
I don't know. It's just funny to see bad press from the lead actor, like right before
That's the bigotry of low expectations coming from DC. They're not even expecting it to approach $1 billion.
That's the thing, guys. If you set your expectations really low, you always exceed them.
That is true. That really is true.
I believe in very reasonable expectations. Like for instance, guys, we just passed 88,000 subscribers, and I said, look, I would like to hit 90,000 by the new year. Sure, it would be greater to get there sooner. So what you should do is, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, you should go ahead and do that right now. Help us get to 90,000 subscribers so that we can then make the march onwards towards 100,000 subscribers. The best way you can do that, besides subscribing, is to share this. Yes, thank you, Phil. Phil knows. They also mentioned this it's what they're talking about in the South Park. Smash the like button, share the video with your friends. Yes, share the video with your friends so that more people can come in here, hang out, watch these episodes, and then share them with their friends. It's like a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing plan. We'll do that. So go ahead and share the video with your friends. We want more people to come in here, hang out, talk about the show. It's a lot of fun, guys. Also, remember, all Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We'll read them right then and there, and then we will do our best to get back on topic right afterwards. So, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into. If you're ready, Mary, we will just go ahead and get started. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Phil, are you ready?
Let's go!
Let's just skip and go to Aquaman right now. How about that? No?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. I've got some very good news right off the bat. Just a very quick announcement here. Reacher Season 2 absolutely crushes right now. It's already outpaced the original season by 50% in just the first 3 episodes, which it did in just the first 3 days. Thus proving the fact that when you make a product for a specific group of people and you don't try to make garbage for everyone that appeals to nobody, you can release it, and then those people will have nice things to say about it and hopefully bring in an audience of people that would not necessarily watch it, right? Like, I'm sick of them making products for everyone and then they appeal to no one.
No, make it lame and gay.
Exactly.
And
Just put a woman in it, put a chick in it, make it gay.
Would I like Reacher? That means no.
It's not your genre, but I think Phil would like it. I think anybody who likes smart shows about spy. Well, I guess
Any smart person who likes smart shows would like it.
It's
not you, Mary.
You don't like anything to do with. Well, no, I guess you're watching Breaking Bad.
Like Code for
I wouldn't
Guys.
have. It's a guys show. There's literally an article that called it like the best dad show of the last 15 years. I just don't think it's your genre.
Okay.
But it's very, very smart. It's well written. So go ahead and check it out, guys. I want you to see it. It says, Reacher is now the #1 title of the year for Amazon Prime in terms of total viewers across all series and films globally. Currently, the series is available in more than 180 countries. It's the biggest premiere weekend that the streamer has had for any series since The Rings of Power in September. Was The Rings of Power in September of this year?
Wait, really?
That
No.
was
That was last year.
Right? Like, I was like, have I lost a year of my life? Because that's like, there's no way.
I feel like I've lost like
That was
everything
last
since
year.
COVID started.
Yeah.
It was last year for sure.
It has to be, right? So yeah, go ahead and check it out, guys. 50% viewer bump, and I think that's only going to go up from there. So check it out. I do have a review for episodes 1 through 3 up on this channel. Another thing that was cool about that is, like, whenever you post a video talking about the stuff that we talk about, most of the discussion point under the comments is pretty divisive. People are arguing about whether they agree, disagree. Oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, you're smart. Whatever. Most of the response for that is people saying, "Look, I really, really liked it, and I can't wait to watch more episodes
Of Reacher?
Of Reacher."
Nice.
So, like, seeing people that actually support something and want to watch more of it is a good thing.
See, that actually does. It's funny that the fact that people aren't hating each other over it is one of the more compelling reasons. The things that make me more curious about it than anything else. You know, I'm not that I was all that interested in the series beforehand, but if it's not inciting fights and people, like, everybody's liking it, I kind of want to know why.
And the benchmark that I have in Hollywood is, will you watch it more than once? Well, I watched season 1 twice through. Like, not just an episode. I watched all 8 episodes all the way through. So go ahead and check it out, guys, and then let me know what you think. All right. So this is a very, very interesting story. So Warner Brothers Discovery is looking like it could be possibly merging with Paramount. And we just had a discussion, was it last Friday, about that market analyst that was saying that it's possible that Warner Brothers could go bankrupt.
They saw that and started panicking and thought, who's going to buy us?
So they're saying Warner Brothers, this wouldn't even be. Warner Brothers is the bigger company between the two. So Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav met with Paramount Global CEO Bob Bakish on Tuesday in New York City to discuss a possible merger. And they're asking why this matters. And it says the combination would create a news and entertainment behemoth that would likely trigger further industry consolidation. Mary would love that because she wants all of them to be in one place.
That's what I thought. This is good news if we have less streaming services. But they didn't get rid of the Discovery Plus streaming service. But
they did fold all of it into Max. So you can still get it all on Discovery Plus. I don't know why you'd pay for both if you can get them both in one place.
I don't either. I think they're just looking at the people who didn't pay attention to the news.
There's a $20 super chat here from Corey Anderson. Says, do yourselves all a favor and listen to Hot Mulligan. Their song, this is called, it's what, wait, do you want to read this? This song is called, it's called what it's called. Is awesome. So as do you want to read this, Mary? I can't scroll over. Do you have it on there?
I don't either.
Do yourselves all a favor and listen to Hot Mulligan. Their song, this song is called, it's called what it's called, is awesome. So are their songs All You Wanted by Michelle Branch and the soundtrack to Missing a Slam Dunk from Corey Anderson for $20.
Never heard of Hot Mulligan.
Most of that makes no sense. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Go ahead and check it out. So it says Warner Brothers Discovery's market value was around $29 billion as of Wednesday, while Paramount was just over $10 billion. So the merger would not be equal state, right? It would be Warner Brothers would have a much larger market share. So I don't know if that gives them more marketing power or more bargaining power. Meaning, like, when a merger happens, the first thing that starts to happen is layoffs. And does that mean that the Paramount people would be the ones getting laid off?
Just so long as they lay off everybody that was involved in the creative direction of Halo.
There you go.
I'm comfortable with it.
We could do that.
I would really be happy about that.
That's getting a season 2.
How do you get a property that is so well structured and put together and then just blow it? Just like, you know.
There's a second season coming out soon.
I'm mortified.
Yeah. They put like I think they put the whole thing. Somebody can fact check me on this. I think they put the whole thing on YouTube.
It is god awful. There was one episode that I recall that actually had some action in it and where they were actually acting like Spartans. The rest of it was just atrocious.
Just a bunch of wine-ons.
It was god awful. Yeah. Couldn't believe it. And like I said, there's been so much done to that property, and that there's so much groundwork laid. There's novels and stuff like that. Like, they had so much stuff they could have worked with, and then they found, like, oh, this is a $20 one.
Yeah. From Pat the Plumber, says the Reacher books were so good. There, now it's letting me scroll over. The Reacher books were so good. I'm happy this season isn't based on the ones I've read. Where's my Let's Go t-shirt? I don't know. I don't ship out the t-shirts, but keep checking the mail. Hopefully you receive it before Christmas. That would
Yeah.
be the hope, right? So it says, the duo discussed ways their companies could complement one another. For example, each company's main streaming service, Paramount Plus and Max, could merge to better rival Netflix and Disney Plus. Look, I might be the only person that has Paramount Plus. I do. I do have it. And
I had it because I wanted to watch the Halo.
Yeah, and I have it mainly because like I don't like using Netflix, and I think I let my Netflix lapse. I haven't used it in a long time because what would happen is every time I would use it, if I tried to fast forward or rewind, it would reset and then send me back to the main menu.
You write off all the stuff that you subscribe to, right? Please tell me you write.
You can, yes.
You should.
But you don't.
What? No!
Services, yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't give the government one dime more than you must. Than you
Stop
absolutely
giving money
must.
to people who hate you, Brett.
The streaming services are a write-off, but like Netflix got so annoying because every time I would try to fast forward or rewind something, it wouldn't allow me to like it would just go back to the main menu. It would like falter and then either go back to the main menu or go back to the Roku main menu. And I put up with that for like a month before I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. So the only real reason that I wanted it was because it had all seasons of NCIS, which I watch before I fall asleep, and they have that on Paramount Plus.
We used to have our old drummer, he loved NCIS. He would watch the absolute crap out of that. And I kind of thought that like maybe he was going to, transition because NCIS is like the show that women like, I thought.
No, it's old. It's old. It's just for CBS markets heavily for old people.
Oh, okay.
So maybe he's transitioning to being old.
It's the murder mystery. Well, he is transitioning.
There
to
you
being
go.
old.
He's transitioning to be old.
That's why he didn't
I'm doing that as well.
That's why he didn't want to play drums in the band anymore. It's a lot of work.
My arms are
Fat,
tired.
A lot of double bass, man. A lot of double bass.
It's just like
I'm just kidding, Jason. I love you. So.
His ears. He's like, this is loud. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, totally.
It's unclear whether Warner Brothers Discovery would buy Paramount Global or its parent company, the National Amusements Inc., which is about as generic of a name as I've ever heard.
I've never heard of that.
But a source familiar with the
National
situation.
No.
Wow. Okay.
What is it?
National Amusements?
No.
They used to own a lot of movie theaters and stuff.
Okay.
Nationwide, like big company, if I understand.
Speaking of transitioning to being old, Phil over here with this. No, I'm just.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, like what, back in the like before Regal was around or before
Regal Cinemas, yeah.
Okay. Well,
National Amusement was actually I think it was National Amusement was before Regal.
That's what I mean. Like, so it got like eventually these like Cinemark and these ones became bigger and it lost its monopoly on the cinema.
If I remember correctly, yes, because like when I was growing up, National Amusements was like the nice big movie theater it was actually West Springfield that we used to go to. That was like. It had always had the new first run movies and stuff, and it was National Amusement that ran them first. And then you're right, it was Cinemark that bought that, and I think Cinemark owns it currently.
Yeah, so like movie theaters are struggling to make any money these days.
I
anyways.
imagine.
So every time we it's funny because where we go, it's like it's got like the gourmet menu of stuff that Mary hates all the stuff on there, but to the point, like it's actually cheaper there than if you go to Regal. Like like it is. Like if you go like when we went to see what did we see with Christian Toto that we reviewed on the...
Hey, we got a $20 one.
Oh, from Crispy Like Transport LLC says, good day, everyone. Phil's cameo in the video had me laughing for about 10 minutes.
All I did was give him a dirty look.
Yes. Was that what that look was? It
was like, what are you doing?
Confused, right?
Well, because that was the premise was like, it's like you see the shot from his camera, and then you see me looking at him like, what the hell's going on? And then it's him from the outside spinning around with his camera, like, as if he's shooting the video. And
it was a good video.
They did that.
Made me want ice cream.
The song is really... Okay, so it is worth going to DC to get that ice cream because that place was badass.
Oh, okay.
No joke. First of all. Second of all, I forget. The ice cream is so good that
the ice cream, yeah.
The song is really, really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the song is legit. The song's like really cool. So
the funny thing is they did that same thing. Remember the band 303?
Yeah.
They had a song called
How could I
Starstruck where they're
forget?
dancing in a fountain, and then at the end
It
of
was
the video,
amazing.
the song finishes and they're just dancing and they're alone and everyone's staring at them.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. So yeah, like they'll look into that. It would be cool if they consolidated down. I don't need both Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount Plus, though a lot of people would say consolidation is not necessarily what you want in these industries. You want more options.
I tend to agree with that, yes.
Yeah. All right. Also, then there was also, because they talked about how they hired bankers to start looking into it, and then it affected their stock price yesterday, when this happened, which of course would be a pretty natural response. But there's this video, guys, of Taraji P. Henson. I know her as Carter from Person of Interest. Mary knows her as the mom from that awful Karate Kid movie.
That awful movie that you like.
That's why I said her in a very judgy tone before the show today. A lot of people know her as she was in the show Empire with Jussie Smollett. Take of that what you will.
Did she believe Jussie?
I think she believed Jussie.
She's that's all you need to know. Well, she was doing an interview recently where she begins crying and treating it like a therapy session because she feels she has been underpaid throughout her career.
Yeah.
So let's play this video. It's almost cringe of the day, but not quite.
Almost. The cringe we have
almost made it. Yeah.
I'm just tired of working.
End the sentence there.
Me too.
So hard. Being gracious at what I do. Getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I just did, and I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I get that.
It wears on you, you know? Because what does that mean? What is that telling me?
What is it telling me? Yeah.
They don't know what to say.
She's worth anywhere between 16 and 25 million, according to the internet. We don't know how accurate that is.
Wait, no, continue the video, though. She ends it on a dramatic note.
And if I can't fight for them coming up behind me, then what the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, don't apologize.
Who does she think she's fighting for?
It's kind of like Jonathan Majors saying, like, he's like, I'm a great man and I'm doing great things for my people and for entertainment. They're doing great things. Look.
Does every black person in Hollywood think they're a civil rights activist? Like, get over yourselves.
Well, I mean, I don't know that every black person does, but I think that being a civil rights activist is a vehicle to fame, or it augments your fame, maybe.
Being an activist in general, but they seem to think of themselves as these historic figures that are going to be remembered for all time as having broken glass ceilings.
I mean,
not true.
And you're right. That's all clown nose bullshit because, like, all of the milestones. I mean, everyone has seen Hollywood and people make claims about being the first something when, like, 30 years ago was the first. Like, who was the girl that played in
she was the first action
exactly
hero ever.
Like, come on, like Ripley like in the 70s Alien came out, but
like, how can I do something that's completely self-serving?
Frame
it as altruism.
They make up records now. The other thing is, she says, I'm breaking glass ceilings. I'm like, being the first at doing something doesn't mean it made any money.
What was she the first at doing anyway?
I have no idea.
I don't even. I don't believe that she is. Like, that's the thing. It's all this stolen valor about being the first because because now there's such a high value on being, an activist and that kind of stuff. And but at the same time, there are so few places where you can actually do something that's progressive.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
She was in the show Person of Interest, which is my favorite show of all time, and Person of Interest made it to 100 episodes. So theoretically, that means that it got it became something that could go into syndication, right? So you could be watching an episode somewhere, and she was through 3 full seasons of that show, so she would be getting residuals on that show if it's playing on any network station. I don't know if that's happening. But this is just one of those things where if you're breaking the glass ceiling, being the first of doing something doesn't mean that product made any money, right? And the other thing is, like, look, hire a better agent and don't settle for less than you think you're worth.
You're right, but all that is that accepts their premise as true, and I reject the idea that they're in any way pioneers.
No, I'm saying I'm beyond that. I'm saying hire a better agent.
Yeah.
Stay and do not take a contract unless you get what you think that you're owed. And if they don't take you up on your offer, then that tells you something too. It just might not be fun to hear.
She's implying, if not saying explicitly, that this is a structural problem of systemic racism in Hollywood, because she continued and said, I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, I have to. The math ain't mathing. When you start working a lot, you have a big team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. It's a whole team behind us. They have to get paid. When you hear someone go, such and such made $10 million, that didn't make it to their account. Off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%. Now I have $5 million. Your team is getting 30% of what you gross, not after what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math.
Okay, so these are all problems that, you know, business owners, anyone that's a business owner is familiar with the idea of operating costs. Yeah. And I don't feel bad for you. Like, do you know how much money it costs to run a tour for a month? Like a bus with a full crew, like just the small end kind of stuff. Like if you're doing like a theater tour where you've got one bus and your crew and your band, right? Like that is going to cost you at least $500,000. Yeah. Right, you know, so it's like the idea that you have this exclusive, unique complaint to the cost of doing business. Like, everybody pays taxes, everybody has overhead to do their own business. You're a contractor. Get over it.
I watched. So somebody else made a comment on here that said they mentioned. Oh, first we got a $20 chat here from Crispy Leg Transport LLC. He says, besides POI, that's person of interest, she played mostly black female stereotypes. She was. I think. Did somebody say she was in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
She was
back in the day. Okay, so yeah, so you know, smaller market for shows that are specifically targeted to black audiences mean that you won't get the return on investment, which means that you won't make the money that you're making if you're making a show that has a wider demographic reach, right? But so somebody said in the comments, they said, you know, the saying, what we mentioned yesterday, said, you know, the saying, never attribute to malice what is more easily explained with stupidity. Somebody said never attribute to bigotry what is more easily explained by capitalism.
Well,
and, they were saying it, that she just doesn't understand how business works.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Sydney Sweeney complaining about how she has to work.
Yeah.
Even though she has been in big roles, she feels like she's been enslaved because she has to continue working in order to have a living.
Yeah.
And she's 26 saying this as if she's in the position to retire. Yep. And she just bought this big mansion in Calabasas and she's wondering,
oh my God,
why she has to continue working.
This hurts.
Being an actress doesn't mean that you should be able to retire in your 20s. That's not a realistic idea for anyone in society.
The entitlement, like you live in Calabasas, like there is going to be it's going to be expensive to live there.
I mean, most 26-year-olds can't buy themselves a tiny starter house, let alone that.
No, God, no.
But she feels she's in a position to complain.
I don't imagine there's any houses in Calabasas that are under like $5 million, because our producer lives in Lakewood and I know his house is over $1 million. You know, it's like and Lakewood is in Calabasas, you know, so.
It's just, I think a lot of his people are just, it's the victimhood complex, right? It's very easy to sell this. And the interesting was, I looked at this article on 3 or 4 separate, a section of Twitter was talking about this, the article, and wherever you find the article, you'll get people with different opinions. Now, the people who were talking about it on Twitter were like, yes, she deserves, and they always use these really vague terms, she deserves to be paid fairly. Well, what the hell is fairly? What the hell does that mean? It's meaningless.
That is exactly. It's just meaningless, empty complaint, rhetorical garbage. They're
the
just
money
like,
should come from the money fairy who
Yeah.
makes it fair for everyone.
And it hurts me to have to say this, because as an actress, I liked her in that show that I like so much. And even Mary liked her in something that, I don't know if you liked her character, but she liked the movie.
I didn't remember that she was in that movie.
But the point is but the thing is that like these podcasts that have them on, like these actors, they're incentivized to have these types of discussions. And I just don't know how the culture shifted, because I feel like back in the day, you would have always laughed an actor out of the room if they said something like this, because gratitude was expected of you.
I mean, you were even called a sellout for trying to make more money back in the 2000s. Like when YouTubers started to become a thing, when being a YouTuber became a viable career path, you were looked down upon for taking ad sponsorships or selling merchandise. Also, bands were called sellouts if they openly did ad sponsorships or sold merch or whatever. They were called sellouts back then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And these days, that behavior
you're supposed
is
to enjoy
applauded.
the struggle.
Yeah, like when I got into, like when I started playing music, like in a metal band, sellout was like the ultimate insult, because it was post the 80s, right? So it's like 80s, like the whole excess of the 80s and everybody all glammed up and blah blah blah. When I was in my first band in like 1993, all that stuff had just gotten the kibosh. Everybody's just like, no more. Yeah. And so like if you looked like you were trying too hard to put on a show, like you didn't want to get on stage and look like you were wearing like stage clothes, that was unacceptable in the circles that I ran. And if you did, you were selling out, because you were not being your authentic self. You weren't there to play the music. You were there to dance around and make people look at you and blah blah. The only way you were authentic is if you looked like a normal dude that you would see walking around the mall, and then got on stage, played the show, then you were about your music. Then it was pure. Otherwise, you were a sellout.
And now audiences are complaining about how the creatives aren't paid enough and how they're not selling out enough. And that's just bizarre to see people flip
even
so
in skating,
quickly.
even Disney made a movie called Brink and talked about soul skaters who don't skate for sponsorships. They skate because they love it. And in the industry, basically got people to believe, like, if you don't love to do it, if you don't do it because you love it, well, then you're not actually into it, right? How dare you want to make any money off of it? So it's a tale as old as time that seems to be changing, because the culture seems to go this way where we feel sorry for these artists because victimhood is such popular currency now.
Until the recession pops off some more. Yep. By the way, Cameron Diaz also had her own soapbox moment recently on a podcast. She says that our culture needs to normalize married couples not only sleeping in separate bedrooms, but maybe they should just have separate houses altogether.
I love how
maybe they should live in different states and maybe talk twice a year.
You get North America, I get
maybe
UK.
Different continents. Yeah. So here's what she said. We should normalize separate bedrooms. To me, I have my house, you have yours. We have the family house in the middle. I'll go and sleep in my room, you go sleep in your room, I'm fine. And we have the bedroom in the middle that we can convene in for our relations.
Private time.
I much prefer Gwyneth Paltrow's flavor of crazy, super rich white woman to Cameron Diaz's flavor of crazy, super rich.
Well, Gwyneth Paltrow has said the same thing.
No.
Yeah, it says it right here. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow and her husband, Brad Falchuk, live in different houses. She says, all my married friends say that the way we live sounds ideal and we shouldn't change a thing.
Never mind.
So this has been their arrangement for years. They spend 4 nights a week at her house and the rest at his own home. So they move.
Look, your body odor stuff was like we were getting beyond your body odor candles.
Wait, so what's the point? What's the point of living in separate houses if you spend the night at the separate house together?
I don't know.
I don't even get the point.
Just because they have too much money. Then.
She said, when you're feeling cozy, you share a room sometimes. But it's lovely to be able to choose.
They just have a bunch of money, and they're like, you know what? We buy 2 houses, and then we can talk smack. And also, it's property is a great place to store your money.
Well, it's like, how can I get married and continue living as selfishly as possible and keep all of the privileges of my single life while having a ring on my finger?
I do love the idea where, you see the scene in the movie where the husband and the wife are arguing and they slam the doors on opposite sides of the hall, but instead it's opposite front doors of houses from across the street. They're like, well, I'm mad at you too. Crash. And then they both go inside their house, and then they don't talk until each of them send their personal assistant out to greet with the other personal assistant so that they can figure out when they're going to go to dinner again next.
I don't know. I think that if everyone had the option, if they had limitless money that they could spend on all these different homes and all these different rooms in a mansion, maybe everyone would have this arrangement.
How do you feel about different rooms?
It might be a good idea sometimes, but I mean, most people, that's just not in the cards. And as if Hollywood relationships are any type of model to follow, like their relationships don't last long. So why would we take their advice?
You don't need separate rooms. You just need separate closets, like full room size closets. Like if you give your significant other, your girlfriend, whatever, wife, a room that's like a room size closet where she can sit down, do her makeup, do all that stuff, and then maybe your own bathroom as well. Like each.
So you would say separate bathrooms.
Separate bathrooms and separate closets is all like, that's like.
For most people, I bet separate bathrooms is the ideal.
Yeah. You know?
Like it's a Jack and Jill, but reverse it. So there's 2 bathrooms on each end of the bedroom.
I saw a meme the other day. It said, like, what is the guy's version? Like when the girl steals the guy's hoodie, the girl steals the guy's sweatshirt. So what is the guy's version of that? He says, using all my girlfriend's ridiculous hair care products when I'm in the shower.
On my balls.
Yeah. 20 for Dubby Nanners for $20 says, for the record, Mary, I'm retired at the age of 28 because of the military, but she needs to give up part of her brain or libs to earn this. Or a lib to earn this.
Yeah, but he's not retired from working. I mean, your military retirement's not going to like be like, now you can go and jet off to the Bahamas whenever you feel like it.
She needs to give up part of her brain or a libs to earn this. Love the show, guys.
Limbs.
Does it say that?
Yeah, I think he means limbs. And love the show, guys. Hit the like button, chat.
Oh, there's no M in. Sorry about that.
He means limbs. So I guess
I was like, she needs to sacrifice.
it's
a
different
liberal
if you are fighting for the country and you get to retire early
Yes.
from the consequences of that. It's a bit different than starring in a bunch of movies and feeling like you're not compensated properly for it.
Yep. All right. So sorry, Cameron. We're gonna have to go ahead and disagree with you on that one, guys.
We have a redemption arc on the show today.
No, we got. Oh yeah, we'll do that first. Yeah, that's a good idea. So yesterday I made a tweet. I said the Hulkster has found religion. Did you see this, Phil?
How old is the Hulkster now?
He's in his 70s now, I believe.
Has he been looking his whole life?
See, I thought so. Somebody pointed out and said I thought Hulk Hogan was always religious because say your prayers and take your vitamins, right? That was his saying back in the 80s. But
yeah, but I think the vitamins back then were cocaine.
For him, yes. For the kids, hopefully no.
Yeah.
Hopefully they were Flintstones vitamins.
The prayers were for more cocaine, and the vitamins were cocaine.
I do. Somebody said I love a newly reborn religious do-rag that he's wearing.
Yeah, he has to even wear the do-rag in the baptismal font. So he posted a video of his baptism and said, total surrender and dedication to Jesus is the greatest day of my life. No worries, no hate, no judgment, only love.
I love it. I'm here for it, guys.
Love
I'm
some
here for
positivity on the timeline.
I like it, especially because, look, Hulk Hogan, I watched... I think it was this one of him and Theo Von, like him talking to Theo Von, and he's telling the story about Ric Flair. Ric Flair, who's like still wrestling to this day.
Not only is he wrestling to this day, he like just a couple years ago, he was like on his deathbed.
Yeah.
He was almost on his way out.
He got sick. He got really sick.
And now he's back, and he's still drinking. He's in his 70s. He's drinking like he never stopped. The man is partying his way through life.
He can't even complain because he's in his 70s.
Hell
it's
no.
not like he's going to die young.
No.
But the best part was Hulk Hogan goes, look, I've known Rick. He goes, I've known Rick for 40 years, and I don't think I've ever seen him drink water. He goes, he'd wake up and he'd have a couple of beers with breakfast. He'd have some wine with lunch.
I drank pretty heavily for a good 6-7 years, and I never, I can't even imagine what it would be like if I drank currently today for all the time from when I quit drinking like that. And he's drank for 4 times as long as that would be.
Christ is king, brother. Like the other thing about it is, look, for Hulk Hogan, he's had many. He's very well known in the industry as a teller of tall tales.
Oh, really?
He's very known for telling stories that just definitely couldn't be true. And
really,
yeah, but they love him for it.
The Hulkster's a fibber.
He's a bit of a fibber.
Tall tales.
He's a tall tale, but everyone loves him for it. I think right now, and he's had his scandals over the year, but like. Who doesn't love the Hulkster? You gotta love the Hulkster.
The guy he called an N-word.
I was gonna say, but that's the thing. I'm hoping that this is his redemption arc. Because that was also
I feel like
related
that
to,
was put to bed a long time ago.
Yeah, like because that was related to his daughter, and stuff like that. But he also remember he won that huge lawsuit from Gawker after they printed lies about him. And
Peter Thiel.
He basically put Gawker out of business.
Is the best. I love that he did that.
I didn't know that.
And
him and Peter Thiel took it to Gawker because Gawker had got a hold of his sex tape, I believe, and released it. And so
his sex tape, brother.
Yeah. So Peter Thiel was just like, I'm over you guys.
What did Peter Thiel have to do with it?
He funded all of it. He paid for all of the court.
That's so funny.
All the court stuff.
Huh.
And I'm gonna go watch Suburban Commando this weekend. I think in honor of this. So go ahead and check it out. We got another one here though, guys. As the headline says earlier, are you ready for this story? It's trans Joker.
I'm so excited to see this movie. Guys, we talked about this over a year ago, I bet, at this point, because The People's Joker, an independently created film that is a parody of the Joker, was taken off of film festival lineups due to copyright issues.
Yeah, it was.
I am not one of the people.
It was supposed to come
You're
out
not the people of the Joker.
Yeah, I'm not.
You are going to
the group of people that are the people
draw that line in the sand.
Yeah, I'm not in that group of people.
So this is a parody, which means it does fall under fair use of the IP, technically, and it's going to be hitting theaters next year, which is really exciting if you were waiting for an origin story of the Joker where he struggles with his gender identity and is a queer clown.
Says a year after the film premiered and was subsequently pulled from the Toronto International Film Festival, The People's Joker will finally see the light of day. Altered Innocence, that's the name of the production company, has secured North American distribution rights for the queer coming-of-age superhero parody from filmmaker Vera Drew, not related to Vera Dark.
No, we wouldn't want anyone to get confused about that.
Exactly. Who directed, edited, and co-wrote and stars in the film that reimagines the Joker's origin story.
So this is partly based on the life of the filmmaker Vera Drew.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yes, this is...
I'm so shocked.
Following an aspiring clown grappling with her gender identity while unsuccessfully attempting to join the ranks of Gotham City's sole comedy program in a world where comedy has been outlawed.
So you know what's going to happen right now? Have you seen the skits? My favorite skits online. It says guy steals a loaf of bread in Gotham and then Batman beats the crap out of him. It's going to be like guy does a comedy special in Gotham and Batman just beats the crap out of him.
Yeah, Batman is the censorship villain in this parody movie. Uniting with a ragtag team of rejects and misfits, Joker the Harlequin forms an illegal anti-comedy troupe that puts her on a collision course with the devious caped crusader contrling the city, which we will not call Batman.
Batman
is
the bad guy in this movie.
I hate this. So I hate everything about this.
So here's the founder of the production company talking about the movie. He said, Vera Drew has taken her own life experiences and traumas to craft an entirely new genre of cinema that blurs the lines between documentary, coming-of-age film, and parody. We couldn't be more thrilled to champion this bold, intelligent, and hilarious piece of queer cinema that audiences around the globe have fallen in love with.
Look, here's the thing. If you want to make, like, they also say, like, the whole crew for this movie was his friends, was all queer artists. If you want to make a movie fronted by a queer actor with a queer storyline, with queer workers, and it's called a queer story, that's good. Make your movie. But don't expect average audiences to show up to watch this. You don't get to then come back later and complain to me when it doesn't do well.
No, they're gonna do that. They're gonna release it. And then they're gonna complain and blame like misogyny and straight white men, cis white men, for why nobody cares about this narcissistic storytelling where they're just literally just putting themselves into the middle of existing stories. They're placing themselves. It's just so disgustingly narcissistic and so boring.
Batman's gonna be like, bow to the patriarchy. white supremacy. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. Psych. It's going to be extremely boring.
Well, I think it's on
stupid.
purpose that they're trying to release this the same year as Joker 2 Folie à Deux to get more press around the movie.
It has a cameo from Bob Odenkirk in this movie. How small of a movie could it be if it's got a Bob Odenkirk cameo in it?
I don't even know who Bob
They
Odenkirk
got
is.
cameos from Tim Heidecker, Bob Odenkirk, Maria Bamford, Scott Aukerman. List goes on and on. I just sent you a trailer for it if you want to show the trailer.
Let's do it. Let's watch it. Oh, yeah. I wonder if we watched it the first time that this came out. Let's rewatch it, guys. Okay.
Hi, I'm Vera Drew, and 3 months ago, comedian Brie LaRose dared me to re-edit Todd Phillips' Joker. Now, I'm an Emmy-nominated editor who works primarily with Tim and Eric, so I could give you your standard alt-comedy Joker remix with fart sound effects and rhythmic cuts over nightmare drones, and you'd gobble it up, wouldn't you little piggy? But I'm currently unemployed and stupidly ambitious, so for the past 3 months, I've been writing a feature-length screenplay called The People's Joker. Utilizing clips from the 2019 Oscar contender, footage from other iterations of Joker's past, and just movies that feature clowns, as well as additional footage that I'll be shooting in the privacy of my own bedroom, I'm creating an entirely new feature film. You heard me right, this is my feature film acting debut, and I will be portraying both Harley Quinn and the Joker. Using these characters,
cool.
which I
You
definitely
wrote
don't
it and you
I will be
starred
sharing
twice.
The story of my transition and how I overcame mental illness and the cycle of abuse
No,
that I
you
was stuck
didn't.
in a few years ago. It's your standard queer coming of age story, only it takes place in the Batman universe. But wait, that's not all.
You
I'm a huge
overcame
fan of
nothing.
Suicide Squad, so The People's Joker will not only be the first film to feature a trans woman playing the Joker, it will also prominently feature Jared Leto's seminal portrayal of the clown prince of crime. And no, I don't have his permission to use his likeness. I plan on using deepfakes, but the way I see it, this can be his way of apologizing to the trans community for Dallas Buyers Club. Plus, Jared, baby, look, everybody knows you were pissed Todd didn't cast you in his Joker. Don't sue me, be in mine. And you know what? I misspoke. This isn't just my Joker. This is our Joker. That's right, I'm opening up the creative process to any and all quarantined artists, musicians, filmmakers, or actors who want to contribute to my vision. Do you want to design this film's Gotham City? Visit thepeoplesjoker.com. Do you want to play the fucking Penguin? Then visit thepeoplesjoker.com. Do you want to record a cover of Small Town Boy by Bronxy Beat that'll be playing over a Wolf of Wall Street style montage about the drug use
Leave
that I was
Bronxy
engaging in
Beat
in my early 20s
alone!
to numb my gender dysphoria? ThePeoplesJoker.com. Warner Brothers legally won't be able to sue us if we all work on this together, and what could be more Joker-like than copyright infringement? Plus, I don't want to make a dime off this. I'm doing this for my mental health, to share my story using 2 of my favorite characters of all time and connect with other artists who are sad and broken because of this fucking pandemic. Oh, by the way, if you're a distributor who has any ideas on how to release an incredibly illegal film, please get in touch with me. I really want to premiere this thing on July 4th, our failed nation's birthday. Because, well, I know I'm not the first person to say this, but this country needs an enema. And The People's Joker...
Okay, that's all you get. You get
I
no
hate
more.
that. I hate everything about that.
I didn't.
Wow.
I was.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not that.
I was bemused until he got to the part where he just craps on Jared Leto for nothing, even though not knowing the dude and just being a dick.
You know what? Warner Brothers, if anything, is going to avoid taking legal action because they'll be cast as the evil bigots who are suing a poor mentally ill trans woman who's just trying to make a living.
I mean, Marvel did sue that guy who put Spider-Man on his kid's grave, so these companies aren't beneath things like this.
But if you are in the oppression totem pole, Brett, then that's a different story. They're going to leave you alone.
I just, wow, that was okay. I'm done. What?
Should we review this?
No. Yeah, yes. I don't freaking know.
I think that if it's showing near us, we should review it. Let's give it an honest review.
No, I don't often advocate for piracy, but I'm kind of all on board for just no. I don't want to see this movie. I don't want to review this
What's
movie.
more Joker-esque than pirating The People's Joker?
God, it's just it's so narcissistic. It's so just like, you know, you hear stories or you hear people criticizing writers about, you know, placing themselves in the story and stuff. This is just, I mean, obvious. It's clearly articulated that the creator placed themselves in the story and it just is so exhausting.
Yeah.
It's also unbelievably current year for somebody to claim to be super oppressed and then get a distribution deal while claiming you don't want to make any money on it. I can't with this. I'm kind of broken right now. I was hating it all the way up until the 4th of July part, and then I really, really hated it more than anything. And I don't know if that's on purpose, if they're just being a douche for the sake of being a douche, but
probably.
Thanks. I hate it. Thanks. I hate it.
That's a perfect summary of the People's Joker.
Okay.
Thanks. I hate it.
Anyways, you get 2 thumbs down from me. Don't go see it.
We should review it though.
Again, you can review it, and I will abstain.
Okay.
I might abstain. All right, guys.
Conscientiously object.
What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cringe.
That was
first.
not the cringe.
That wasn't the cringe.
That was not, in fact, the cringe.
We'll look at cringe of the day right about now, ladies
Travis
and
Kelce, inspired by his GF Taylor Swift,
Ready for this,
decided
guys?
to make his debut in the music world. Here is his original song.
Big as bars, they got rivers of gold. But the wind goes right through you, no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broad Street was waiting for me. The sound of the Silver Ages choir all singing.
This is better than the People's Joker, and I
Yes,
would rather listen to
that's
this
true.
the entire time that the People's Joker is playing.
There
I'm
we
just
go.
saying, I want to see Taylor Swift play football now. It's only fair. It's the fair trade-off.
She's tall, so she could be wide receiver or something like that.
She could do that. All right, let's. We got some cute of the day as well. Now that we're through that,
That was such a mild cringe, especially compared to
Yeah, after that, it's like actually not that
that was
bad.
actually like
We'll
a
just fold
timeline
them
cleanse.
into-
I'm like, all right, that was literally better than the previous bit. So thank you for the cleanse.
Let's hold off on, or let's just fold them into one another. We'll say that they were both cringe today. All right, let's do cute of the day. I got a couple here. First one here is from Steve on Twitter. He says, "Say hi to Odysseus, Odie for short."
Oh, I didn't know what this was at first. Kind of looked like a one of Cassandra's monkeys from afar.
So there was this time. I'm not
A
kidding
little
you.
bit, right?
They're both mammals.
There
so
was this
it's-
time when it was
works.
like 8 p.m. or it's like 7:30 p.m. I'm up here working and I'm really tired and I take my glasses off like this and I'm like, oh, I need a nap. And then Cassandra walks up and there's a monkey on her shoulder and says, "Have you seen Tim?" And because I'm like blind, I'm just like, "Is that a monkey?" And it's just walks. Yeah, it was a monkey. So
Actually, if it's Cassandra, she's usually got a monkey with her, right?
yep. So
It's like a purse.
this is from Not Yo Cheese. Says, "Here's my best friend Cameron," not to be confused with Cameron Diaz. He's a border collie. I got him at a shelter in Denver last year, and he rode across the country with me back home to Michigan. Ready? Go get it. He didn't bring it back to you.
That's irrelevant. That's not the point.
What are you doing?
Yeah, the fetch is actually the catching part is the
There
thing
we
that I
go.
think dogs
Look at how
like.
adorable that is.
Adorable.
That is adorable. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? Let's get into it. So, if you guys don't know, Disney ain't doing so well these days. The stock price is plummeting. All the shares are down, and the company has lost a ton of valuation in the market this year. But it's not just that. They seem to be going to war with Elon Musk, who has much to say on it. And right now, Elon Musk's Grok has much more to say on it because there was this interesting thing written where basically someone asked Grok to please explain to them why it was that Disney was failing so hard this year.
In case anyone wasn't aware, Grok is X's version of ChatGPT that is still developing, but it had a very powerful explanation for how turning woke negatively impacted Disney. And Elon Musk said Grok is based.
Yes.
Also, Elon Musk. There was someone. Or are you gonna play something?
We're gonna read what Grok said here.
All right, go ahead.
All right, let's go ahead and let's read this here. It says, so the question was from Sir Doge of the Coin. It said, explain how turning woke has negatively impacted Disney. Be vulgar, it asks. Oh boy. Where do I even begin with this one? Disney, the once beloved family-friendly entertainment powerhouse, has taken a turn for the worse in recent years, and by turn for the worse, I mean they've gone full-on woke. And it's become a complete disaster. This is starting to sound slightly parody. It says, first off, let's talk about the financial impact. Disney has lost a staggering $123 billion in market value in 2023 alone. That's
that real?
That's billion with a B. Their stock has dropped by 44%, and they've had to deal with CEO musical chairs and profitability concerns.
This isn't vulgar enough.
No, it's not. It's like watching a slow motion train wreck. Not a car wreck, but a train wreck. Except it's a mouse-eared train, and the conductor is wearing a rainbow-colored conductor's hat. But wait, there's more. Disney Plus has lost 4 million subscribers in quarter 2, and on top of the 2.4 million they lost in quarter 1. That's a whole lot of people who are just not interested in watching quote-unquote woke content. And let's not forget about the string of box office bombs and flops that have plagued the company in recent years. It's like they've forgotten how to make movies that people actually want to see. But it's not just about the money. Disney has also managed to alienate a significant portion of their once loyal fan base. They've taken beloved characters and franchises and turned them into vehicles for their quote-unquote woke agenda. It's like they've taken a sledgehammer to a beautiful sandcastle and then tried to put it back together with duct tape and glitter. And let's not forget about the impact of their theme parks. Once a place where families could go to escape the stresses of everyday life, Disney parks have become ground zero for the quote-unquote woke culture wars. It's like they've forgotten how people just want to ride some rides and eat some overpriced churros. I'm with you, man. Not to be lectured about social justice. In conclusion, Disney's turn to woke culture has been a complete disaster. They've lost billions of dollars, alienated their fan base, and turned their theme parks into a political battleground. It's a cautionary tale for other companies who might be tempted to jump on the woke bandwagon. Just stick to making good content and leave the politics out of it. It's a fair summary.
Brock.
That's a fair summary.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm surprised they didn't mention Rachel Zegler.
I know, right? But it's an accurate assumption because there's an article from Cosmic Book News today. It says Disney fails in 2023, drops out of the $1 billion club. For the first time in a decade, Disney has failed to reach the magical $1 billion number at the box office. Disney failed to have a movie reach $1 billion in 2023, which is the first time since 2014 if you do not count 2021 and 2020 because of the pandemic. As long as they're not trying to call 2022 the pandemic, I guess I'm okay with that.
I was surprised that they're planning to make a sequel to Inside Out when the first one over a decade ago, or like almost a decade ago, didn't make $1 billion back when it was released. Why would you make a sequel to anything that didn't make $1 billion?
There's
desperation.
There's other factors that count into that. How much did the first one cost versus how much it made? So if it costs less to make but still made a lot of money, just under $1 billion, that's reasonable.
To me, it still reeks of desperation. And they said that they're taking a Marvel approach to the Planet of the Apes franchise. Just by calling it the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, it sounds so idiotic.
The Kingdom of the
Kingdom
Planet.
of the Planet of the Apes is literally the title of the next movie.
I really feel like it should be the Planet of the Kingdom of the Apes.
Or just something else. I don't know. Like less. We
Well,
need
you know,
less
like
of.
you need a planet that can actually
just
have the
don't.
kingdom on it.
Or we just don't
just
make
don't.
another Planet of the Apes.
That's acceptable as well, in my opinion. I wouldn't argue with that. Or at least give it
Nobody
another
asked for it.
Give it another 2 decades, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, give it some time so that way it doesn't feel like one just came out last year.
I would like to see them spend less money on these movies. Like maybe you're not making $1 billion on a movie. It would hurt less if you weren't spending $300 million on every movie you tried to make.
Well, they also pointed out that Star Wars is dead in the water.
Yep.
There's not going to be a Star Wars movie either next year or the next year.
And you're gonna get in the next one. You're gonna get is what that Ray movie that they're gonna make.
How?
What's the
excited are
Ray?
you about that?
What is the Ray movie?
They're making
what does that
another
mean?
like a Ray trilogy, right? Or another Ray centered movie.
I hope not.
A Ray trilogy of movies.
I think so. It was either a solo movie or a trilogy of solo movies. But yeah,
You don't
based
want
on-
to commit yourself to a trilogy of flops.
based on her character that nobody liked anyways.
Yeah, I didn't want to seem like pandery in saying it, but like, yeah, her character is unlikable. Like,
She's a Mary Sue.
yeah.
and like there was nothing that the character did that was endearing. Like
There's something about her smile.
Well, see,
Something about that.
Why do you think that is? I mean, it's the lack of having to work for what you get. Now, people pointed out, like, a lot of times that can work if the character is pre-established. Like, somebody called the character of Reacher a Mary Sue. I said, it doesn't matter because they build his history in the flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a main character. Also, again, here's where I point out, sucks to suck, but guys and girls are different, and guys or girls are held to different standards
they are.
when it comes to movies. People like it when dudes are when male characters tend to be overpowered. There's a reason why on the show Arrow, they liked the fact that Oliver Queen was like ridiculously overpowered compared to everybody else that he was coming into contact in season 1, other than Malcolm Merlin's character, the Dark Archer.
I mean, one of the reasons why Leia was attracted to Han Solo is because he's this hyper competent masculine alpha male. What would Rey see in Finn?
Yeah.
He's a panicky male lead. In fact, actually, no, he's a panicky male co-lead.
Yes. Even worse.
Has zero appeal.
And somebody else pointed this out. They were using examples when we were talking about Reacher. And they said, what about, they mentioned Oliver Queen. I said, you get 5 years of flashbacks to this character where you see him sucking at being a hero as he's trying to learn what it is to be a hero. So the point is, you get to see that progression and growth in flashbacks, whereas Rey, you don't get to see that.
Yeah, right? And then it was never explained, as far as I know, how she came into contact with Luke's lightsaber, right?
I don't want to know.
They never explained how that happened.
No, they like. Oh God,
or did they?
No, they didn't. I hate it all. It's all just such trash.
And then she's
so
Palpatine's
lazy.
Granddaughter for some reason, because like that's relevant.
Well, everything so.
Why?
So J.J. Abrams set up a ton of options and set up the ability to do a fairly standard story with the first one, and then what's his name? The guy that did the second one, Joss Whedon, is that his name?
The second, which one?
The second Star Wars with Rey.
No, that
Force
was
Awakens.
That was Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson, that's it. Then he came in and decided that he was going to do his deconstruct Star Wars thing, and after that, it was trying to. After that movie, they had to fix all of the garbage that he did. They had to literally put the storyline back together because it made no sense.
The funniest part is like if you're gonna do a deconstruction story, it shouldn't happen at all in a trilogy, but it really shouldn't happen in the middle.
No.
like you could theoretically deconstruct in the first movie and then rebuild in the next two as you start to tell the story over again. You could even theoretically deconstruct in the third movie as things fall apart. Yeah. But deconstructing in the middle makes zero sense whatsoever.
Not only the middle of that movie was the most pointless thing in all of the three all of the trilogy of the sequels, and that movie in and of itself was the garbage of the trilogies. And even though The Last Jedi or whatever the last one was called, even though it sucked because
the Rise of Skywalker, the Rise of Skywalker, because they tried to do too much all at once and they couldn't make anybody happy by trying to make everyone happy.
They were trying to. I really feel like they were set to fail because the whole movie was just like it was all deconstructed by the time they got to the third one, and it was trying to put back together something that was literally torn apart with no story thread in it.
And the sad part about this is like this really speaks to a lot of what Disney's problem is, which is poor leadership right now. Whether it's Kathleen Kennedy over there at Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, who's been touted as this great CEO, hasn't really proven to anyone, at least to me, I don't think he's proven to anyone that he knows how to get the company back on track this year, not in any way, shape, or form. Elon Musk has taken to really criticizing Disney because of the virtue signaling that they've done based around ads on X and things like that. So he injected himself into the culture war aspect of it. Also, did you see the story? It says Tesla hides Disney Plus from the car screens.
I did.
This is so petty. I love it. It's so fantastic. It says the Disney Plus app has been removed from the video displays from Tesla vehicles.
Oh, an ex-user with the account name The Tesla Ho posted about this, saying Disney Plus has now been removed from Tesla vehicles. I'm assuming this is in retaliation to Disney pulling advertising from X, which they have every right to do.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
But now she'll have to explain to her toddlers why they can't watch Disney Plus in the Tesla and deal with their upset feelings because two grown men can't have a civil discussion and move on.
Well,
I guess Elon is just not the one to pick a fight with.
yeah.
They removed the icon, but they didn't like prevent people from running Disney movies. I mean, you could probably still get there through the website.
Hey, stop it.
Wow.
It's
It
not
listened to me.
behaving today.
It listened to me that time. It was like, all right, Brett, I'm done. It says yeah. They say they're assuming that it's retaliation, and I do love. But the thing is Elon Musk is actually the only person who's been able to show, like, look, when you have like actual market value, when you actually have a lot of power, you can actually make swift changes that affect these companies. Something like that is a perfect example of this. Nobody else is willing to do that when Disney steps out of line or does something stupid, right? Nobody else is willing to push back on them except for YouTubers, and now some of these journos are starting to notice it and point it out, but it's not really catching, right? There was the article about Marvel this year, about the downfall of Marvel and how bad they're doing. But that was like the first time that we saw that they were actually willing to admit that these companies aren't doing as well as they're pretending that they are.
Willing to accept defeat, finally.
There's a $20 one here. Oh, no, there's a $30 one here from Rico Cantrell. Says, Ric Flair almost kicked my ass one time because I didn't know who he was. He was just a cool guy that I was shooting tequila with for 3 days. The very next morning at the bar, we took a picture together. Good times.
Awesome.
I love it.
That's
I bet it's just tequila out the pores. Explains why he sweats so much when he wrestles and why he's like covered in, like, whenever he's bleeding.
Well, I thought that was cocaine as well, but
Probably that as well. So go Rick.
Live
Live your best life as long as you're not hurting anyone else.
that's right.
But yeah, like, Disney is going to keep the struggle, and Elon Musk is the voice of a lot of people who don't really have a say in it, because whenever YouTubers would point this stuff out, they got called either alt-right or conspiracy theorists, or you're my favorite is man baby. I saw a comment on one of ours recently that called us man babies, so I hope you enjoyed that.
You're
a man baby now, Mary.
What did the comment say?
It just said, must suck to be a man baby.
On what?
Man baby?
Because
maybe.
of
I don't know.
our take on Disney.
I think it was on a Disney video, yeah. So, that's
See,
what it
they're
is
more
now.
pathetic running cover for a mega corporation for free.
They love it. They love it, though. No, but also, like, maybe those are those people we were talking about, Firebell, and how they have these programs that are designed to run for, like, emergency scenarios when companies hit PR snags. Maybe these are just people that are paid to tweet on their behalf or paid to leave comments on their behalf. You never know.
I guess so.
You never know these days. Anything's possible. When a company's worth that much money, it's kind of naive to think that they wouldn't employ people to try to shift public opinion.
We should do
digital
that.
Platform. We should. Who wants to work for like 50 cents in a candy bar to say nothing but nice stuff about Pop Culture Crisis Online?
Yeah, we'll send you our spare Jeremy's chocolates.
I think I've got one left.
If you-
I think
yeah.
I've got one left. Unless you want one of the he hymns. I think there's some he hymns here somewhere. Mm-hmm. So, sucks to be Disney these days.
Let's go to Superchats.
do it.
Tacti Platty said, Brett, I got a cup. Let's go. May you all have a Merry Christmas with friends and family. Chris actors, too? I don't know who the Chris actors are.
But thank you.
Beware, Big Avocado. Stay away from California.
I have no real desire. Do you think that a lot of I was reading a thing the other day where a guy they were talking about Shohei Ohtani, the baseball player who got the $700 million contract from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And he was apparently, they offered him a contract, the San Francisco Giants did, and he didn't take it, and they were like really upset about that. And they're like, a lot of people in the comments like, well, who the hell would want to live in San Francisco? You'd be covered in nothing but piss, crap, and needles. And a lot of people in the comments were like, look, that's just right-wing fear-mongering. It's not actually that bad here. I haven't been to San Francisco in a very long time, so I can't actually say. Has anybody here been to San Francisco? Really?
I mean, so the last time I was in San Francisco was last year.
Was it horrible?
There was some rough spots. Like when we were doing the tour last spring, not this past previous, there was a lot of homeless people around. And it was in more than just in San Fran. Like most of the places that we played, actually no, every place that we played in California, there was some degree of homeless people around the venue.
But they're harmless. They're just living their best lives.
Have you been to where's Whatever filmed?
Oh, that's in Santa
San
Barbara.
Diego, right?
So it's not anywhere near like Los Angeles or.
It's safer than the rest of Southern California,
Because
probably.
mostly when people are talking about Los Angeles or they're talking about San Francisco, it's tent cities and crap on the ground.
Yeah.
So.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, I've been meaning to ask you how you feel about the X-Files reboot with the Black Panther director. Sup, Phil? Hi, Mary.
It's weird that this is coming back up again because we covered this. It had to be 6 months ago at the very minimum that we talked about this.
I don't even remember
when the news. It actually might have been when you were out of town.
Okay.
At a certain point. How do I feel about it? I think that it's a fool's errand to try and do this. I don't even think if you tried to cast as closely to what Mulder and Scully looked like and do the storylines the same way they did in the original series, I don't think it would work. The reasons the X-Files worked is because it was the definition of lightning in a bottle. It captured a very specific moment in time in this country as far as how it looked at politics and how it looked at conspiracies. The idea of conspiracy theories, which was a much less mainstream idea that was pushed into the mainstream by the X-Files. Fascination with aliens and outer space were high at that time, and it was pushed forward by a subculture of people that helped it find mainstream success because the normies latched on to the possibility of romance between Mulder and Scully on top of these episodes that were about government corruption and spying, or the government and aliens and all that stuff. And you can't recapture that moment in time. You won't be able to recapture the magic of the chemistry that David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson had. I don't think it has anything to do with the race of the actors or the agenda, because the agenda, is as stupid as the agenda is, I think even if there wasn't one, it would still fail.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Jacobs said happy birthday and rest in peace to the king of rock and roll, Mr. Frank Zappa. Also, here's another vote for I'm not reading that merch. Love y'all.
There you go, Mary.
That will be taken into account.
Let's do one more.
Kobe McGuire said, hey guys, how are y'all? Rachel Zegler still sucks.
Look, we championed her performance in Hunger Games, or at least...
Did people get mad at that?
No.
That we liked that movie?
Nobody really. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. But it didn't really bother me. I thought she was fine in that movie. But that's also important because if you're going to review these movies and criticize them when they say something stupid, you have to be willing to put your feelings aside when they act.
We did have a lot of Wonka defenders.
Yes. People were very mad that we didn't like Wonka.
It's not a good movie. It's still not a good movie. Sorry.
Let's move on, Sherry. Mary, what the hell is going on with Pierce Brosnan?
Well, before we dive into this topic, let me just give some food for thought. I looked this up before the show today. The average lifespan of a marriage in the U.S. is 7 years, okay? That is not a hopeful statistic. And I would guess, fairly certain, that a marriage between two Hollywood actors has an even shorter lifespan. And that makes Pierce Brosnan and his wife, Keely Shea Smith, an exception to all rules. They have been married for 22 years. He speaks so highly of her. Every time that they appear in public together, they look so affectionate and close. And it's just a nice, positive, wholesome thing to see. But people on the internet can't have that. They have to tear it down. Yeah. So I saw this tweet that went viral from an account on X called RX Red Pill. They showed a before and after photo of the couple. You can see that Pierce Brosnan doesn't have the grays in these photos, so these are quite old photos. So it shows that he looked the same relatively in each photo, but his wife gained some weight. And their caption says, your daily reminder to avoid marriage. Because we have to find a positive example of marriage and tear it down and defile it because we hate everything wholesome and we hate love.
Yeah, like
that is the summary of that post for you.
The amount of people that were just upset at the fact that this dude, because the dude has options, because he's famous and has money, and he's not exercising those options because he's found someone that he loves and doesn't want to leave, was certainly very upsetting to a lot of people.
Well, what that sounds like is, I wish I was Pierce Brosnan. I wish I had options. Yep. So I'm going to LARP in my head that I am Pierce Brosnan and divorce my wife.
That is like his relationship is the goal. Like the idea, like she's put on a little bit of weight. Yeah, fine, fair enough. But like, it's not like she has ballooned into an immovable object. You know, she's not housebound. So it's like, obviously they have a great relationship between the two of them because they're not in the tabloids getting arrested for spousal abuse. You know, like there's no stories of secret mistresses or she's banging the pool boy or whatever. Like, for all the evidence that your average person looking from the outside has, is they have like the ideal relationship, the relationship that everybody hopes they have when they get into a real relationship. I don't get why there are so many people in the red pill area that, well, actually, I mean, I do get why there are, just like every other kind of like niche group of people, there's people that are haters in there. So, you know, that's it. But like, you know, they don't deserve any of the criticism that they've got. That everybody should hope that they have a relationship like that.
It really, to me, it speaks to the fact that the internet doesn't really easily promote the idea of anything positive or happy, right? That's not what the internet thrives on. The internet thrives on criticism and discontent, to be fair, right? And there's not a photo of these two together where he doesn't look like the happiest dude I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, how can you hate on that? Like, I'm not going to hate on that. Who was it? The No Soup for Knowles said, guys, genuine question. Is this a W? And people are like, is that a question? To him, it's a W. It doesn't really matter whether you think it is or not.
Well, they said two things can be true at once. It's good for wives to stay in shape. True. And secondly, you're an idiot if you think this guy isn't happy.
And just because you or I might put that higher on the preference, right? That the woman that you're with stays in shape. Yes, for certain people, that's going to be a higher priority or preference. It's clearly not for him, and that doesn't bother him.
You're not going to be as attractive as you were in your 20s. It doesn't matter who you are. This woman was born in 1963, so what would that make her? She's 60 years old right now?
Yeah.
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, she's not going to look as hot as she did in her 20s or 30s. That's just the facts of life. Are we all going to divorce each other once we get old and ugly?
Well, I mean,
because that's not going to lead anyone to happiness.
But to be honest with you, like I said, like she's put on weight, but she doesn't look like she's not... Like, she was pretty to start with, and I think I've talked about like the difference between young and pretty on the like with you guys before. Like, there are young women, like, you can be young and think you're pretty, but you're just young. And then when you hit 40, oh, look, you were never pretty, you were just young. She was pretty, and so she is still, like, she is not an ugly woman. She's just a little heavier than most people would consider an ideal weight. But at the same time, like, there are a lot of dudes that like thicker women, you know? I mean, again, this is another thing that I've been complaining about. I complain about big sloppy butts, you know? So...
Well, even just a couple of weeks ago, Pierce Brosnan did an interview with Fox News that I read talking about his marriage, and this might shed some light on, you know, why he hasn't traded her in for a new model. He said, "We love each other a lot, and we've been down the road. We've seen many, many hardships, as families do, as we all do. Watching someone grow up with you and grow old with you is a spiritual journey. To watch each other change, whatever it may be, the hair, the waist, it's the love in the heart." See, that's just so wholesome.
I always knew James Bond was wholesome deep down.
And he also said, "In the past, I truly loved her for her person, not only for her beauty, and now I'm loving her even more that she is my children's mother. I'm very proud of her, and I always seek to be worthy of her love."
Again, how can you hate on that? How can you have anything negative to say on that?
Yeah.
I remember
Hate
watching
on it because you can hate on everything. That's all your deal is.
I did remember seeing an episode of some show where this guy kills his, like this cop show where this guy kills his wife because she lost the weight because he liked her the size that she was.
He killed her over
Wait,
that,
what?
huh?
Well, no, because then she started getting attention from men, and it made him really, really jealous. And so you know, he liked her the way she was when nobody else wanted
let's not take it to that extreme where we're gonna kill her if she loses weight. We just got a $20 one.
Says Brosnan has the right idea. He doesn't have to worry about anyone without a forklift swooping in to snatch up his lady. But beware, guys. Ladies pulling the pin on the old fat grenade after vows exchanged isn't a myth. Well, you know, I'm not choosing to take such a negative take on this.
Well, look, obviously no one should be overweight, and you should work no matter how old you are to be healthy. And yeah, like, being overweight is bad. Yes. We all agree on that.
Yes.
I don't know why this guy's marriage has gotten in the red pill crosshairs, though, like him particularly.
It's because of his fame. And first of all, also because he played James Bond, and James Bond was a man who has sex with a lot of beautiful women. So maybe it fits the...
Okay, he's not James Bond. He's a real person.
But he's also a famous actor who... The idea is that this is not a dude who would be trapped in a relationship if he didn't want to be, right? But that's how they would say it. It's not what I'm saying. That this is not a dude who's trapped. If he wanted to divorce her and have a younger model that was better looking or thinner, whatever they think, he could have it if he wanted to. And I think for a lot of them, they have a hard time comprehending why someone with options would stay in a situation that they themselves don't see as ideal, even if the person they're judging does see it as ideal.
I saw a similar post talking about Declan Rice, a footballer. He's a multimillionaire, athletic, 6'1", elite footballer, and yet he settles for a fat white girl. I don't understand this world anymore. And someone replied saying, don't want to argue with this. She was there before the fame. You don't drop that. And the original poster said, she's a good stepping stone, but there are new mountains to be climbed when you become a premium football player. You can't be bringing a girl like that to an award night with 10 out of 10 Latinas.
Specifically 10 out of 10
like,
Latinas. Yeah.
You're just trying to sound like a douche.
Yeah.
Right? I think that this is a LARP because they wish that they were the footballer. They wish they were the famous rich actor, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not the guy with limitless options. They're not Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
They're LARPing that they are and thinking, I would be making different decisions if I were him.
Yeah.
But you're not him.
He's like, I would have the 10 out of 10 Latinas every time if I could, but since I can't, he should do it in, I can live vicariously through him by doing that.
I just like that Pierce Brosnan is one of the few Hollywood actors that is providing a positive example of fidelity, loyalty, wholesome family values.
I'm just never going to understand the desire. Like, I like it when people are happy. Like, I like to see the positive stories. I like to see the stories where somebody's promoting something wholesome or is living this life. Like, whenever we don't even cover it that often because it's not really a story per se, but whenever we hear these stories of like Alexa Panavega leaving Hollywood, getting married and moving to Hawaii to be religious with her boyfriend or her husband or whatever, like, I like those stories. I think that those are uplifting and wholesome, but for some reason, whenever people read those stories, if they don't like it, they're like, well, why would they do that? Why would they leave this? Like, why would they want to leave Hollywood? Well, I can give you 10 reasons.
If you were in it, you would know.
Yeah, if you've never been and spent time in Hollywood, you shouldn't be uttering that phrase. Like, there are ample reasons to leave Hollywood.
It makes no sense.
There are probably more reasons to leave than to go.
Yeah. I'll just never understand. As somebody in the chat says, misery loves company, and I guess maybe that's it, right? Is people want to promote it. Also, especially if you're doing it on Twitter, it's good for engagement.
Yes.
Negativity always bolsters
rage baiting people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what people like to do the most these days. That's why people like to repost content that has nothing to do with them, because they know that if it's negative enough, people will engage because people feel drawn to it. Facebook, Meta did those surveys years ago when they quiz people. They had like these ad agencies run all these surveys with people. What is it? And they had psychologists figure out what gets people to repost, what gets people to engage with posts. It was negative stuff all the time. It's always the stuff that pisses you off, which is why it's where rage bait headlines come from, right? Even if it has nothing to do with what you're reading, whatever it takes to get you to click on it. And this guy's personal life being that much of a fascination in lieu of being something so wholesome, I don't get it.
Yeah. When I look at Leonardo DiCaprio and his dating life, which also gets a lot of attention from the media, I unfortunately just see it as a guy who's getting used for his fame and his money.
Yeah. And
that's sad. Like, that's sad.
But it's like
there's two parties who are engaging in a transaction instead of a real relationship. And it doesn't matter if it looks cool. It's just sad all around.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
DCNC said, Phil, looking more and more like your artist rendition on Together Again every day. That's the goal, right?
I mean, the beard is getting full. I don't think that it'll be getting a trim or any significant cut until springtime. I think it's going to be the winter beard, and I'll probably probably cut it down, maybe lose it in the spring. We'll see.
I was always so dumb. Like when I played hockey, I always grew my hair out in the summer and then would cut it before hockey season. You're supposed to do the opposite because when it's cold, you want the longer hair. But I was just never able to like hold out and then keep it through the.
That's when you need a beanie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, Corey, those song titles gave me a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, see, I'm so glad that somebody's coming to my rescue at least a little bit here because I couldn't read it.
They want to see us struggle. Joy Westbrook said, thanks for reading those song titles, Phil.
You're welcome.
And do one more there.
Tacti Platy said Star Trek is on Paramount Plus 2, Brett. Enterprise?
Yes, yeah.
Are you into Star Trek?
I'm not a Star Trek guy, but there's other such series on there that people like, but it's a much smaller platform than a lot of these other ones. So, all right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact. Do you guys know who Jennifer Love Hewitt is? Anybody?
Yes.
Does anybody here, Phil? You know who Jennifer Love Hewitt is?
I know who Jennifer Love Hewitt is.
Well, she was a bit of a heartthrob in the early 2000s, was she not?
She wasn't really relevant to me.
No, Mary had no idea who she
I
was.
haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, so didn't really leave an impression.
So Jennifer Love Hewitt is saying that she's very unhappy that she was sexualized in her 20s in Hollywood. She's an actress who's mad that she was sexualized by Hollywood.
You heard that correctly, folks. It says Hewitt is over trolls who keep comparing how she looks now to how her body looked in her early 20s. She says also that 23 and 25-year-old wasn't in her body. I felt watched. I felt like I had to be everything for everybody all the time. I was called sexy before I ever knew what being sexy was. I was 17 years old on the cover of Maxim, and I had no idea why. In 2002, she recalled being told to be sexier on the set of her rom-com Heartbreakers. I know that I'm supposed to be this thing for people, but I don't know what that means, she told a producer at that time, and noted how she struggled with people's perceptions of her. Quote, it's weird for me when people are like, that's the girl that we wanted you to be. That girl was so insecure and so confused and trying her best. But this girl who may not look that way, I like who I am. I feel good. I'm fine. We totally believe you, Jennifer.
She was in a show called The Client List, where she plays a courtesan, if you will, later on in her career. She's become a very successful television actress. She's been on multiple shows. She was on The Ghost Whisperer, which a lot of people saw back in the day if you watched a lot of regular television. But it's weird to think because this comes up a lot, right? Like the actresses that were 17 and they're on the cover of these magazines. Now, I think a lot of it is also because back then, I don't think the people reading them would have known how old she was, right? Like,
no,
it just wouldn't have been part of the discussion. And right nowadays, that conversation would be a lot more relevant than it ever would have in the late 90s or the early 2000s.
It's interesting. I remember when Bella Thorne was still, I'm guessing, a minor teenager on the Disney Channel. She was in a bikini on the cover of Teen Vogue, which is a women's magazine, a young women's magazine. Was she being sexualized on that cover, or was that image of her meant to be aspirational to other women?
Yeah. That, like, who actually decides that, right? If the target demographic is women, then I guess theoretically you're supposed to assume that it's supposed to be aspirational for women because they're not trying to sell it to men. You said it was Teen Vogue. Like, I don't think they're really expecting, like, any boys to buy a copy of Teen Vogue.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So is that sexualization or is it aspirational?
We're going to put the picture of Bella Thorne in a bikini on the cover and put the feminist literature inside.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Yep.
And she also talked about how she gets accused of using filters too much on Instagram to the point where she's unrecognizable. She said aging in Hollywood is really hard because you can't do anything right. I had this thing a few weeks ago. I was getting my hair done and I had not a stitch of makeup on, so I threw on a filter. I really gave it no thought, and a bunch of people were like, Jennifer Love Hewitt is unrecognizable. And then another place was like, she's unrecognizable, and so she's gone to filters because she doesn't want us to know how bad she actually looks now that she's in her 40s. And I was like, this is crazy, right?
Women, you can use the filters. Guys, it's indignant. It's undignified if you're using filters. I'm just saying. Guys
True.
shouldn't be using filters.
I mean, the filters are meant to plaster makeup onto your face when you're not wearing makeup.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Look, I think a lot of it is the reason these stories are so consistent from Hollywood is because they're they lack confidence to begin with. They're very self-conscious. Actors are very self-conscious people.
Usually they are.
It's why they're so easy to control and manipulate them, because it's a field that requires you to put a lot out there. And like, if you've ever, like, you guys have, even if you've seen people who do like acting, like people here do stuff for Cast Castle, right? And like, imagine having to be in front of 100 people and give it your all on these lines, and who knows if you're going to sound stupid or not. Like, that's a very, very disarming experience, and they take advantage of the fact that the people who fall into the profession of acting tend to be very, very easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
They're insecure narcissists.
Yeah, so like, it's not hard to
It's true.
imagine that a bunch of insecure people would then carry that through their 20s when they're being lauded for their beauty, and it would come back to bite them later.
Well, they always write the memoir,
Yeah.
or they make the Me Too claims. Like, once you're not able to leverage your sexuality for career opportunities anymore, you then leverage
Your memoirs.
the value of all of your tell-all memoirs and your accusations.
I actually don't. Somebody says she's not hot anymore. I actually think she looks perfectly lovely for her age. She looks just fine.
She's also a mother of 3 children, and you would think that by the time you reach this stage in your life, like you're in your mid-40s, you're a mother, you have different priorities than endlessly spiraling about how you look and talking about it publicly.
She's been married
and defending yourself about it.
She's been married for 10 years, so she's beaten that 8-year. She's over that 8-year hump
Yeah.
that we were talking about earlier.
That's a good example. So I don't know, why is her appearance still the primary focus?
I mean, women are never going to be able to escape that, especially from this time period, because there was no middling women in Hollywood. Okay, I don't know if there was none, but you were expected at this time in Hollywood. It wasn't just her in I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was Sarah Michelle Gellar. Beautiful women were expected to be the norm back then. So you cast beautiful women that have a little bit of narcissism, a lot of insecurity, and you're going to get a lot of articles like this later. And we see these all the time, right? Oh, did you know she was also in the, I still haven't seen this movie yet, the 2012 movie Zootopia. This is a real movie.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, by Brian Vogel. Like, I got it. It's a romantic comedy centered around a genteel who pretends to be Jewish in order to win the affections of his love interest.
Jesus.
Who wants to go? I want to rent it.
Have you seen it before?
I have not seen. I remember when
I
somebody
feel
was
like
telling me about it.
I feel like Taylor told us about Zootopia and told us that we should watch it. And
but
it's
yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
Utopia. I can't even.
Who wouldn't want to see that, right? So, like, do you think that the filter thing is also just a problem with the fact that people who are now older are going to be using filters as older people get comfortable with technology?
It's not even just older people,
Yeah.
though. Like, I don't know what demon has to possess you to make you think that it's acceptable to put a Snapchat filter on a dating profile. Like, you know that those people are gonna meet you eventually. They're gonna see what you look like.
So if
eventually, you're just
you're-
hoping to trick them and rope them into a date, and then they'll be like, oh, they have such a great personality. I'll just look past how they lied about their appearance.
So there are filters that are just like makeup. If a woman wears like a filter that's just adding makeup, I wouldn't sweat it. Right? Like if it's just
But
like,
if it changed the structure of
But
her
yeah,
face.
if you look like a different person, then I would have a problem with it.
Also, she says, I felt watched. You were an actor.
You were
You were
being
watched.
watched.
You
You
were
might have felt
literally-
watched because you were being watched by millions of people, Jennifer. Amazing observation.
That's just crazy. to
Incredible.
me. And we've seen lots of these actors talk about how who was it? Sophia Bush, and I think the actresses from One Tree Hill talking about being asked to do like these men's magazines back then when they were
What
younger.
men's magazines?
Like Maxim and FHM and all of this stuff back then. So this was very common back then because the women of Hollywood were expected to be sexy back then. It was the norm. There's a $20 super chat here from Patriot American. It says, my buddy Jeremy is a tight end for the New York Jets, and he's dating. He's dating
and is getting married to the same girl he met in high school. If someone is saying since you're famous you should cheat, something is wrong with you.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yep.
It's a good rule of thumb.
And look at Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's been married for 10 years. She decided to get married when she was a little bit younger. That way now, hopefully her husband doesn't just see her as what she looked like when she was younger.
I feel like getting married often cures women's neuroticism to a certain degree and like makes them less insecure and mentally ill.
Think so?
Sometimes. Yeah, like, and so if she's still like spiraling this badly about her appearance and is this neurotic about how people respond to her at this stage, I don't know. It just seems like once you're married and you're a mom, your priorities and your self-worth should be placed somewhere else.
Also, when she says like being told to be sexy when she doesn't know what sexy was, she's framing that as if it's inherently bad when it's merely instructions from somebody who's creating art design. That
It's kind of ridiculous to claim that at 17 years old you don't have a concept of what sexy means.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not saying it's all appropriate and that was all okay and that's a sign of a healthy society. I don't think it is, but you're not 12, right? Like.
And now we've got We've got Sydney Sweeney, who's kind of the sex symbol of the day.
She is. Yeah.
So does that mean that in 20 years we're gonna have articles from Sydney Sweeney? He's like, look, I was on the set of Euphoria, and they were saying do these drugs and get banged by these dudes and be sexy, and I had no idea what being sexy was. I was only 22.
Well, unfortunately, the 2020s concept of sexiness has been totally obliterated by pornography. And I think there was a much more wholesome, image for sexiness in the early 2000s. Yeah. Like, you weren't going to see a Euphoria on network television in the 2000s. Jennifer Love Hewitt wasn't going to be... Yeah, but, like, Jennifer Love Hewitt wasn't being asked to do the same things Sydney Sweeney is being asked to do on streaming shows. It's not the thing that was acceptable in the culture at the time.
Cinemax was still a thing. There were still shows like this. There was just less of it.
Right, as there should have been. Less. Yeah. But Sydney Sweeney is now seen as this sex symbol actress of Gen Z.
Pat the plumber says, who's Sydney Sweeney? Who's Sydney Sweeney, he says.
You'll find out.
You'll find out. She's gorgeous. She's probably the best looking lady in Hollywood these days.
We saw this headline about how she considered getting a breast reduction before she turned 18, saying like, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to get a breast reduction. And she says her mom is the one who convinced her not to do it, saying you'll regret it in college. And she now says that she's really glad that she didn't do it. She calls her breasts her best friends.
Thank you, Sydney's mom.
And she also said this hilarious line: the biggest misconception about me is that I'm a dumb blonde with big tits. It's just chef's kiss.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
She's great.
She also has been engaged for about 6 years.
Wait,
just thought I would
pull the trigger?
No, Greta Gerwig, who made Barbie with her boyfriend Noah Baumbach, just got married, and they've been engaged for 12 years. 12 years.
A lot of people were talking about that because he left his pregnant wife for Greta Gerwig and cheated on her.
Stuff.
Yeah, cheated on his pregnant wife with Greta Gerwig. I mean, Greta Gerwig, you're going to throw it all away. You're going to throw away your marriage and your family for Greta Gerwig.
What is this woman?
Must be an
seriously
absolute panther in the sack.
Doubt it. Okay.
It's the only explanation.
Oh my God.
To look like that.
Really? Yeah. I don't remember what the name of his first wife was, but left her for Greta Gerwig while his wife was pregnant.
Jesus.
Maybe he's just following through because he's like, if I don't follow through on this, I'm even worse.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, that's not what I think it is. I think it is now that Barbie made $1 billion and she made all this money off it with him because he helped write the movie. but she probably got the
Helped.
bigger.
He wrote the whole
probably
thing
wrote
and
the whole
put her
thing.
name on
but
it.
But I'm now that she makes all this money, he divorces her and takes half. Let's go.
That's some asset, yeah. Well, maybe in 2043, we're going to see interviews with Sydney Sweeney where she talks about how horrible it was that everyone sexualized her.
My mom was wrong. I should have gotten the reduction done. That's what she's going to say. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Alex making beds and finishing his first novel on the side.
Nice.
Said, it's my birthday, so can I get a happy birthday from my favorite CCP federal, same thing, sleeper agents? Happy birthday, Alex.
As long as you don't make me sing happy birthday or have happy birthday sung to
We're not
me.
going to sing.
My favorite another meme that I saw recently says when my memes give me away and the government agents send the restaurant employees over to sing me my happy birthday song.
What if we did like what they do at Cold Stone for Super Chats? Like they do different chants and songs when you give them a tip.
I'm not.
We'll like do
I can't sing,
we'll do
so.
a little ditty for
You can do that.
for each
You can do
Super
that.
Chat amount. Bucky Ducky said, Phil, why are you not here every day?
Because they don't even have PCC every day, so
How could we do that?
I can't be here every day.
Well, we do every weekday. but
Yeah, and
not every day.
I'm not here every weekday because there are other people that are on the show, and
This is also our job, not Phil's.
Yes.
yeah, like I'm
Phyllis is
doing
here on the goodness
IRL
of
as
time.
well.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know about the goodness of my heart. I mean, well, I enjoy your company and stuff. It's fun.
There you go.
Quite Blackpilled said, Mary doesn't like smart shows like us, right, Brett? You catch the new Rick and Morty season? Hold up, gotta smell my own fart real quick.
I don't. The thing is, I
So
don't actually
true.
like. We
You
make
gotta
that
be a
joke.
certain IQ to understand Rick and Morty.
Make that joke, but I actually don't watch a ton of super smart television. In fact, I'm more likely to make fun of you for being really into high concept stuff. So
True, yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, music video, ice cream, so good.
Borax, so good.
Should have named it ice cream.
Let's hold off on the rest. And
Borax,
we'll,
so good.
we'll come back after the rest. Mary, tell us what's going on with Miranda Cosgrove.
Miranda Cosgrove is one of those former child stars that for some inexplicable reason ended up turning out okay. She didn't go down that child star to train wreck pipeline. And here is a reason she just revealed that might explain why. Miranda Cosgrove recently said she has never been drunk or smoked in her entire life.
Good for her.
Quote, I've never even been buzzed. I've sipped things before, but like 2 sips. And she was saying this on a podcast with Josh Peck, who was on Drake and Josh with her. So yeah, she said there was only one instance where she had an edible brownie, and she says she slept for 17 hours after that. But that's the only time that she has
Perfect.
ever ingested
Perfect.
any type of drugs.
All of the bad
17 hours.
bad drugs that I did in my life. Maybe the worst experience I ever had was with edibles too.
Look at
because-
this photo of her.
Yeah.
She looks so good. And not anything like, an Amanda Bynes,
this
who
is what
also
you
came
look
out
like.
of Nickelodeon.
Look at this. Yeah, look at this
Look,
photo. of
she's
her.
just
This is what you look like when
smiling,
you don't do drugs and
She-
drink yourself.
That's
throwing
exactly
up
right.
the peace sign. There's just life in her eyes. Just a genuine smile, a normal person. She also hasn't messed up her face permanently with plastic surgery and fillers, at least not as far as I can tell. Just looks natural. She's not going down the Madonna path.
Yeah.
She doesn't look fake, and she doesn't look dead in the eyes like so many other former child stars do. Why? Why her?
Not doing the drugs helps. It seriously helps big time, right?
You know
Like,
what?
it
Something else
ages
she
you.
said. This was funny. She said that she always felt like the iCarly cast was like the misfit nerd group of Nickelodeon at the time, and the Victorious cast was seen as like the party group, like the party cast that always had fun and drank together and did like more adult stuff. And I bet that that's something Dan Schneider put on them.
Probably.
Like Dan Schneider was managing and creating both of these shows. He probably pressured child stars to drink and do adult things that they didn't want to do. Jeanette McCurdy even said this in her memoir that the creator, who is obviously Dan Schneider, pressured her to drink when she didn't want to.
Yeah, and kids are impressionable, and when you got a job like this and you want to keep your job, probably very easy to fall into bad habits that you're really, really going to regret later.
You just wonder,
And you do.
Why Jeanette McCurdy, right? Like, why was she targeted, and why did she get so traumatized and messed up from working at Nickelodeon and being a child star? But then you look at Miranda Cosgrove, who was in a very similar position, and she turned out to be a totally normal person.
Yeah.
And they did this whole iCarly reboot without even inviting Jeanette McCurdy to be a part of it, even though she was a huge part of the first show, because they knew that it would just be a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't understand why some of them turn out fine. Hillary Duff
Well, it's
also.
because people are different and different lives and stuff, you know.
The Hillary Buff trend that's going on right now with the pictures of her.
I
working
love
out.
her. I love her. Buying Glocks.
But
She looks better every year.
Yeah, there's the photo of her holding the Glock case.
Yeah, having kids, buying Glocks. Good for you.
With good trigger discipline while holding the case.
Yeah.
But also, it's not just that. Frankie Muniz, there was this article. Frankie Muniz says he's never had a sip of alcohol or done any drugs. He's 37 years old. You know, that will go a long way in keeping you at least looking younger, right?
Was it fake news that he like had memory loss of all of his years filming Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes, because he got in a car accident.
Or was that fake news, or did that actually happen?
I don't know if that part is necessarily.
I thought it was some kind of like neurological condition. Like now he doesn't remember.
Maybe he did do a bunch of drugs and he just doesn't remember then.
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of people didn't believe Miranda Cosgrove when she said that she doesn't drink for some reason. They just think it's not possible to enjoy life without doing drugs. I mean, because alcohol is a drug.
Here's what he says. I've gotten to really do anything I've wanted to do, but the truth is I don't really remember much of that. I'm not actually sure how my memory loss started. I've had 9 concussions. I've had a fair amount of mini strokes, TIA, so transient ischemic attacks is what they're called. So yeah, he's had his problems. So, but because he's like a rally car driver now. He races cars for a living.
Well, that might explain some of the concussions.
Yeah,
oh,
that'll happen.
Phil, you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bug flew into my mustache.
But, stay off the drugs and you're going to be a lot better off. You're going to be a lot happier. You're not going to age as fast. I certainly think that I wouldn't have aged as fast if I hadn't spent a lot of years making a lot of big mistakes. Right? So,
I saw someone tweet, "This generation is cooked. No way people are shaming her for being sober."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a myth. Because, to me, when I was younger, because I didn't drink a lot, at all when I was younger, right? I got into all my trouble a little bit after my early 20s. And once I got sober, both before I did stuff and after, I've never had someone be like, you're a loser if you don't do this. That's never happened. In fact, most of the kids that I knew, that they're not going to encourage you to do drugs because they want to do the drugs. They don't want to share the stuff.
Yep.
And anybody that I've ever met, when I've told them that I've gotten sober, just say, good for you. Even people who still use, say, good for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's out here thinking, oh man, you want to be cool? You need to keep cooking your brain.
Only losers stop doing drugs.
I think that I recently saw a post about this. There are people on TikTok who think that they have brain damage from...
And they're right.
From vaping too many THC carts during the pandemic. And they have permanent brain damage from it. I don't remember what the name they came up with it for. I don't know. But
so what were so people were just mad that she didn't do drugs. I think a lot of it is it
they're not mad. I think that they're accusing her of lying is really the thing. They think that she's just lying about being sober, which is kind of ridiculous because how is she supposed to prove it to you?
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people had mixed reactions. Yeah, one person said, "Don't believe her, girl, stop lying." It's kind of stupid.
It's stupid. What you should say is, good for you. You're actually a decent role model for other people.
Right?
Okay, do you remember when we reacted to that video of her explaining that story of a guy that self-immolated on her lawn?
What?
You don't remember that?
No, remember, I'm the one who did all the drugs. I don't remember
that. So it was really jarring because she's telling this story on a podcast and she's laughing about it like it's no big deal.
Okay, yes, I do remember that.
She said that this guy was planning to assassinate her for weeks.
And then
he buried a gun in her lawn. And yeah, he thought that he got her, but he actually shot at other people in her neighborhood, thought that he got the job done, and then he self-immolated in her front lawn. And she had to move. But she was telling the story like, yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like, I guess you have good coping skills to be able to react to something like that by having a sense of humor.
How to respond tonally to stuff like that is you run the risk, right? That you're not going to respond in the tone that people are expecting you to respond in.
It's really weird.
But not just that, or no, like what did we talk about? Chris Cuomo with the woman with Tourette's recently, when he couldn't keep from laughing.
Yes, look, he did a really good job.
Yeah, he did his good.
I follow her on IG, and I followed her for a little while, and she did a pretty good job too, considering how severe the tics can be and stuff. So
also, Hollywood isn't going to promote stories like this. They'll write like a couple of stories like this about the kids who get out and lead a fairly like decent life.
What they want is the train wreck.
Yes, they want
the Demi Lovato.
The Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, or the Amanda Bynes.
Does Demi Lovato count as a train wreck, or is she just more of a lol cow?
Definitely does.
Train wreck?
Yeah.
What is she destroyed? Because the reason I say, and the reason I preface it, is because I look at like Britney Spears as a train wreck. Like, she's a big mess. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on and things. I feel like Demi Lovato is more like trying to follow the trend, and she's more like a lol cow and something to poke fun at.
Britney Spears definitely set the bar high.
Yes, that's a train wreck. Like, that's when your whole life's messed up and the law has to get involved.
With Demi Lovato, I see how, you know, she had this history with mental illness, with self-harm and eating disorders at first.
Right.
Then later on, she just ends up addicted to drugs, and she almost overdosed back in 2017, right?
Several times, yeah.
Or what was the most recent time?
2019, right?
She almost died of an overdose, like, not that long ago. And then has been in rehab countless times. She gained weight and then started getting really obsessed with her body image, and had that whole row with the Froyo place because they had sugar-free Froyo. It was just a whole mess. And then she's like really into talking to ghosts, and like she decided to do that TV show where she does ghost hunting, and she serenaded one of them with her song Skyscraper.
Because the patriarchy.
Yeah, she said that ghost had trauma from the patriarchy, so she decided to sing to the ghost to uplift the spirit.
Right, so she's a lol cow, definitely.
She's definitely cray cray. Like,
a lol
people don't remember that, but she is definitely cray cray.
She's fun.
I forgot about that one. The serenading the ghost because of misogyny and the patriarchy.
Because of misogyny.
That was crazy.
And that's the norm. Like, the ones who end up normal, like Miranda Cosgrove, those who are healthy, like Miranda Cosgrove or Hillary Duff, like, they're the exception, not the rule.
Hillary Buff.
Demi Lovato is definitely one of the train wrecks.
Just remember, guys, you can go, I think Roku has the very Demi Christmas right now that you can watch. I'm sure at least a half a person has watched that. Someone has. So. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Okay, let's finish these up. 5 Against 8 said, didn't realize Jason had left the band. VST drums on the new record, or have you had someone in the studio?
We have not announced the drummer yet, so that will be forthcoming in the early part of next year.
I saw your, was it the Paul McCartney?
Bass players are not musicians. If you're a bass player and the only thing you play is bass, you're not a musician.
Taxi Platty said, Phil, Brewster's Ice Cream is local and gave me a life-changing moment at Frederick Minor League game last year. Local chain, one in Hagerstown, too. So they're not just in D.C., I guess.
That sounds awesome.
And then another person knows a guy. Bad Adam 12 said, Phil, there's a woman in Middletown, Maryland that was trained by the guy that owns the D.C. ice cream shop. She opened a gelato shop in Middletown. Check it out. It's closer than D.C.
Y'all gonna make me fat. You big old fat Phil.
There's did they say they were at like a minor league, like a minor league baseball game Or was it a Little League? So. Did you ever see this thing that I posted? Like I was skating at this like Little League baseball field over here, and there's a sign on the wall that says, "I trust in God, I love my country, and will respect its laws. I will play fair and strive to win, but win or lose, I will always do my best." That's based.
That's totally based.
That's super based.
That is absolutely awesome. That is exactly what you want to teach kids.
Yeah.
Like reality doesn't quite line up with that, but that gets you great results in the real world.
There was also a sign on the other side that said, like, "Please stop badgering the umpires."
This is not the MLB, guys. Fathers, don't get into fights with the umps.
Exactly.
Joy Westbrook said, "Life is work. Lady needs to get over it."
Yeah. You need to understand. Like, if if you're spending your whole life just waiting for the ability to retire, it's going to be a long one for someone like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's crazy too, because that's in acting, which isn't even a traditional profession to begin with.
Look, you should, for all the young people out there, you really should not try to do a job.
It's being rude today.
You really should not try to do a job if your whole goal of doing the job is retiring from the job. If you have the option, I know that not everybody has the option, but if you can get away with doing something that doesn't make you wish you were retiring next year, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Retiring at 26 sounds like the beginning of an extremely boring and unfulfilling life.
Yeah.
To be honest.
What are you doing? Do something worthwhile.
Corey Anderson said there are 989 people listening right now and only 27 likes. Come on, y'all.
What
Press
is up
that
with
like
that?
button.
There is currently 1,058 people watching with 431 likes, guys. Hit the like button, would
y'all
you
are
please?
Slacking.
Don't forget.
Like that.
Don't forget.
Video,
I understand.
okay?
Listen, I know these guys are like the slave masters. I understand. You roll into the stream. You don't, you start, get involved in the conversation or whatever's going on and stuff. I get it. Just go ahead and click it now.
Now's your moment. Pat the Plumber said, "If Mocha gets baptized, will you show that redemption arc?"
Nope. Zero.
Okay.
Zilch. Nada. No chance whatsoever.
I don't think cats can get baptized. They really hate water.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that wouldn't work out so well.
They're also evil.
There you go.
Like, you ever watch a cat catch a mouse that when it's not starving to eat the mouse?
Yeah, why would
that
I
mouse
support
suffers?
That? Why would I support that? I'm not doing that. That cat's not ending up back on
Cats aren't
here.
evil. They're just being cats. It's their instinct.
Well, this cat in particular is just evil and not getting on this podcast again. So
Not That John Stewart said, "Phil, if you release a solo album, use the artist rendition depiction of you from Together Again video."
I'll take it under consideration.
Definitely. Make that your Twitter, Abby.
I've thought about that as well.
Do it.
let's go.
But then people are going to try to use it as a gotcha. Like, "Oh, you think you look like this?"
I mean, well, people are going to use it as a gotcha. Someone said that, someone made a remark about my Twitter avatar looking bad. Like, he thinks he looks cool in the picture. I'm like, listen, you don't have to like me. I absolutely look fucking cool in that picture. I'm literally on stage in front of 50,000 people, and I look jacked. Yeah. It absolutely looks cool. You don't have to like me. You can think I'm a loser, fine, but that picture looks cool.
Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, don't lie to yourself.
Joy Westbrook said, "With how many celebs converting to Christianity, it makes me wonder what is coming to make folks so afraid for their souls."
Hell.
Death?
Yeah.
If you convert to Christianity, the best reason to convert to Christianity is so you don't go to hell. If you believe in Christianity, you better be a Christian. You're going to hell. Where was that hell yell from? Where did you?
I don't know.
She's a wicked woman who's going to burn in hell.
Oh yeah, it was from that Trump post on Truth Social about who was it even about? Nancy Pelosi or something?
I've just heard
She's
you
a wicked witch who belongs in hell.
I've heard you say hell like that so many times, and I'm like,
I have ended the poll, ladies and gentlemen. I asked you guys, were you scared of mall Santas growing up?
I wanted to know because I was deathly afraid of them, and apparently I'm not in the majority.
No, 74% say nope, 25% say
question
yes.
is, when did you stop being afraid of them?
When I stopped being forced to sit on their lap, I guess.
There you go.
I was afraid of Chuck E. Cheese. I was afraid of all mascots. I was afraid of birthday clowns. I was afraid of Mall Santa.
Most of it makes sense because they're these weird.
They're weird.
Essentially, if you're a child and you're around human beings all the time, and then there's this big gigantic creature.
See,
it makes sense.
I
None
think
of
it's
this stuff weirded me out.
Yeah, I know. I think that it's a sign of intelligence, actually. You have to be a certain IQ to be afraid
telling
of
yourself
Chuck E.
that.
Cheese. Because the cynical kids like me knew that Santa wasn't real, and they knew that there's a weird creep inside the Chuck E. Cheese costume, and nobody else seems to realize.
Well, you know, you could have gone to Showbiz Pizza where there was no weird dude inside of the.
Oh, you know what else I was afraid of?
animatronics.
I was so afraid of hibachi restaurants. I hated hibachi restaurants.
Was it the
so
fire or the
much. Yeah,
blades flying around the fire?
The fire,
The fire,
just. Yeah, I literally went under the table and cried.
I was too
I
poor to
hated
afford
hibachi.
hibachi restaurants anyway, so I never had to worry about that.
It was so scary. And they were like,
That's
Mary, look, they're
awesome.
doing the little train.
And you're like,
the
"Make it
choo-choo
stop!"
train. And I was, like they tried to pull me up to look at. No, that was a trauma.
I was
that was
only
like
afraid
a formative trauma for me.
Awesome.
I was afraid of escalators. That was the only thing I was afraid
Oh
of.
yeah,
I didn't
they
want to get
scared me
sucked
too.
into because there was an episode of like Inside Edition where somebody
Yeah.
got sucked
Well,
into the
'cause-
escalator.
You never know when you're supposed to jump off.
Yep.
I did. I do. I know exactly when I'm
Okay,
supposed to jump
I guess
off.
it wasn't obvious to all of us.
Going
Phil.
down didn't bother me. It was going up them that bothered me. Because the one that I saw, the guy got sucked into it going up.
Why is it called an escalator when sometimes it goes down?
Because it escalates you.
Remember,
No,
if
when
they're
you go
broken-
down an escalator, it's not escalating you.
Well,
It's
calling it a downscalator just
de-escalating
doesn't
you.
work.
De-escalator,
Sorry.
yeah.
It's the remember escalator temporarily stairs.
Okay, we're moving on now. Not that Jon Stewart said our Joker comrade.
Ah, yes, Comrade Joker. That will be next.
Oh God.
Jacob Edler said People's Joker is part of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, basically the ragtag group of people.
Everybody that goes to the movie is going to want to commit suicide.
They already do.
They probably do. Obviously, the person playing the Joker has thought about it on a
40%
couple
of
times.
them are going to.
They're gonna.
Shane H. Wilder said, I feel like I lost brain cells over People's Joker. It's a wicked witch that belongs in hell. See, they know the reference.
You know.
Corey Anderson said, men are horrible at applying makeup. Vera, gross. Yeah, just not Vera Dark, just so we're clear. We're talking about the other Vera. Bucky Ducky said, Disney looking at Ray, I can fix her.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They can't, though.
That's my new favorite meta. It's all the women with their mug shots, and it's the one that says she was found punching an IRS agent, screaming "End the Fed."
Yeah.
It says I can fix her.
There's nothing wrong with her at all. There's nothing to
she's
fix.
perfect
She's
just
perfect
the way
just the
she
way she
is.
is. Absolutely.
Disney looks at Captain Marvel and says, I can fix her.
Yeah, basically.
Potatoes for Seamus said 1,000+ watching might get more if Mocha was on.
That's there's no faster way
Lies.
to make the view count drop.
Lies.
Then put a cat on.
Then, no, this specific cat.
Ah.
It'll make people rethink their life decisions. Unsubscribe to the channel.
Shane H. Wilder said if he's happy, then who gives a shit?
I assume that we're
Good
talking
point.
about
Pierce
Pierce Brosnan.
Brosnan, yeah. Not the People's Joker. Quite Blackpilled said Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. W. Nanners said, Phil, big butts aren't a complaint. They are a blessing. It is the guts that everyone hates.
I am still of the opinion that the love for big butts has been overdone. The meme is out there, and it has gotten to the point where people are not discerning when it comes to the butts that they're loving. They like the cottage cheese butts. They like the butts that are flopping around, they're not, in any kind of shape. Like, no.
I think it's a result of demographic change, to be honest, and like pop culture.
I think it's pop
reflecting
culture.
that.
I think it's pop culture more than anything else, because I don't think that there's a significant demographic change, or I don't think the demographic change that's happened in the United States has been significant enough to go from we like people that are hard bodies and in quote unquote shape, the way that kind of you had it in the 90s or 80s, 90s, and kind of the early aughts, and then the big butts came around and that became like the meme, and then it's like dudes are just like, well, if she's fat but she'll bang me, I'll just talk about how much I love her butt.
I feel like we could make a YouTube short out of that whole discussion there.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Especially with the
Hiroshima-
end.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, Joy Westbrook said, "Love is more important than lust. Appearances fade, while a good character can't be lost in aging."
That's what it is. It's cope.
Yes.
They're coping about.
They're huffing copium.
Yeah, it's all copium. Sorry for jumping back.
Okay. Hiroshima Otaru said, "A lot of people are crabs in a bucket."
Hold them back.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Bucky Ducky said, "LOL, Phil, that was a great response. Be here more." I don't know what that was about, but
I'm not
whatever
sure
it was, it was
which
good.
He sent that at
was.
4:30, so whatever we were talking about at 4:36.
Red-Nosed Rainderp said, "You can't just lump all cannabis users in one group. You have your George Carlins and Carl Sagans, and you have your George Floyd's. Merry Christmas, Phil."
George Floyd is not best known for cannabis use.
No.
There are other things that George Floyd was on that are less of a concern. Or I'm sorry, more of a concern. The marijuana is the least of the problems.
Perturbed Alpaca said, "Mary, those people on THC carts probably are brain damaged. Working for many head shops, there is nothing safe or natural about THC carts. None of the deltas either. Many chemicals, no romance."
Perfect.
Such chemicals, no romance.
I sent. So there's a new. What is the Dear Maria, Count Me In, the song? There's another one of Metallica singing it. It's so
really?
good. Yeah, it's so good.
Wish it were real. Yep. The Last of My Kind said, "Imagine Finn's character done proper. He was a stormtrooper that witnesses a massacre in his first deployment. He keeps the armor with it turning more and more red with the blood of the First Order."
Yep, that would have been the story that they should have told.
They should have told literally any other story.
Yeah, they could have told, like, no story.
If Mary's got a point.
But, like, does it have to be his first deployment ever? Like, can't he be a hardened criminal?
Doesn't matter because none of them can shoot anyways, even if it's their 10th deployment.
Right. It's hard to massacre people when you can't hit your targets.
Anything. Well, what they need to start doing is they need to start aiming to the left or to the right, and then theoretically they would hit him right in the middle.
That's why they went with the Death Star.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't hit individual targets, just blow up the whole planet.
It just makes no
Screw
sense.
it.
Like, he's supposed to be indoctrinated from birth and have basically no sense of individual self, and yet on his first deployment, he bitches out.
Welcome to why one of the myriad reasons the movie sucks.
Yeah, it's not even worth talking about anymore. Shane H. Wilder said, "If I was a ghost and Demi serenaded me, I'd head toward the light."
It depends on what song she sings.
She sang Skyscraper.
I don't know that song, so I probably head to the light too.
Her own discography.
Like in Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Didn't she do Torn? Wasn't that like her first song?
Natalie Imbruglia.
That's Natalie Imbruglia. Demi Lovato did the song with Timbaland. Right?
I don't know what.
I don't know Demi Lovato's music apparently.
Heart Attack?
Yeah, Cruel for the Summer or Cool for the Summer. Cruel Summer is different. Yeah, Cool for the Summer was her, but that was later. She had but she was also in the band earlier, right? In the Disney years. Get Back was her back in like 2007.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Back when she was on coke all the time.
You were so skinny back then.
She literally said that she started doing cocaine at 17 while on the set of Camp Rock.
That could happen to anybody.
Could. Pat the Plumber said, "Don't have the option. That's why I play into it."
Again, I'm sorry, but we don't know what you're talking about right now. But if that's okay, if that's what you had to do, man, I support it.
Organized Business Services said, "WTF is the cat Mocha."
It's a derpy, stupid-looking cat that I will never feature on this podcast again. Mainly, okay, so here's
this will be in the PCC wiki.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. It's kind of like Godzilla -1 now. The more people tell me to go see it, the less I want to see it. Like, people keep, like, I put my list out of, like, 17 movies this year that I liked, and everyone's like, Godzilla -1. And, like, the more you do that, the less I actually want to see the movie because it's the American in me. No.
You're spiteful.
Now that you're telling me to, no. Now I don't want to. Leave me alone. Though I may end up seeing it over the holidays if it's still playing, but I will have to do it in protest because the more people tell me to see it, the less I want to see something.
Phil, no offense, but you are a petite man, and somehow every time you're on the show, you kick my camera.
He doesn't like you very much. He's doing it. It's subliminal messaging. And then I have to fix it later. Guys, we're almost at a fourth crisis party. Let's get a fourth crisis party for Phil kicking the camera. We're going to have to replace it. We need to pay for it.
I'm not petite. I'm short. I'm actually fairly filled out for a guy myself.
Apologies.
Yes.
He's short. The Last of My Kind said, "Rey's character done proper. She wasn't abandoned as much as she was the niece of Obi-Wan from his twin brother. She knows how to fight, but not use the Force like a Mandalorian. Luke trains her for two movies."
Yep.
I just don't think they should have continued Star Wars at all.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Tacti Platty said, yes, Brett, minor league game at Frederick Keys. It's fun, wholesome, and affordable. Phil, is Slash a musician?
Slash? Yes, he's a musician. He's also a rock icon. I mean, he's Slash. Is
he a bassist?
No, he plays. He's the guitar player for Guns N' Roses.
Oh, okay. Well, then why would it even be?
Are you an American?
I'm 23.
There's still Guns N' Roses. It's not
I don't know like how many times this needs to be stated. I'm 23.
And as far as the game goes, that does sound fun and wholesome. I still want to go to a Savannah Bananas game this coming year. In for the tickets, which you have to win by lottery.
That's going to
now.
be an investment of your entire life savings.
You have to win by lottery now.
Oh,
like you can't just get tickets because they're so hard to get. You have to when
should
they do
at least
tour
be
stops.
a meritocratic system.
Yeah.
Who?
So it's a mixture of like the carnival and an
It's like a
acrobatics
slapstick
baseball game,
carnival
exhibition
fake
baseball game.
Find out who books it. I might know someone.
Oh, I will. So, but yeah,
You use your connections.
The name
to
is
Savannah
the Savannah
Bananas.
I could probably. I might be able to use my connections. Yeah.
Yes!
Amazing.
Kidding around.
Bucky Ducky said Charles Cheese is scary, especially the animatronic.
I just
Chuck
like the
E.
idea
Cheese,
of calling it
isn't
the Rat Casino.
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Children's Rat Casino, which is what it really was. Here you are with your 10 million tokens. Here's like this kazoo.
The parents let the 9-year-olds have a sip of their beer.
And the recycled pizza.
Red News Rainderp said, personally, I converted because of Pascal's wager. Cover your ash, you know. Besides, I've been a heathen and a pagan. Heretic is next on the list. Victor Lopez said Cliff Burton not a musician.
Cliff Burton played more than bass.
There you go. So a musician.
Corey Anderson said the Smoking Man was my favorite character in X-Files.
Yeah, William B. Davis played the Smoking Man, and he continued to play the character when it came back after its ultra-long hiatus for seasons, whatever those last seasons were, when it came back in like 2015, 2016. I knew I'd been watching too much television. This was like a very sad moment in my life when I watched the trailer for the X-Files and I see this stock footage of military boots pounding on the ground. I'm like, I've seen that shot in at least 3 shows because it's stock footage that they get from like a service. And I kind of had like a moment to myself where I'm like, maybe I need to reevaluate my life priorities because I saw the shot. I'm like, fake.
You sprint to the IMDb trivia section.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to read that one. Pedro said, bread. Blink twice if you need help from Mary hitting and abusing you offline.
Look, I'll blink in Morse code SOS if I need you guys.
He just blinked twice.
But thank you.
It's too late. It's too late. Bucky Ducky said, when you said the show wasn't every day, Phil.
What?
I don't even know what this is referring to. I'm sorry. Potatoes for Seamus said Disney looking at Tarzan. I can change that.
They're never going to change that.
No,
Tarzan's staying exactly the way it is.
Yep.
Corey Anderson said 007's wife is probably... Okay, I'm not going to read that. Bucky Ducky said the stormtroopers don't have bad aim. You're wrong.
I mean, there's like 6 movies that prove you wrong.
DCNC said kick Cam, please.
Stop it! I have to fix this later.
Well, yeah, but you already have to fix it, so it's already messed up.
There was a $20 one here from
more.
Baron of Gray Matter. Can you read that one, Mary? I can't read that one.
Oh, sorry, I missed that one. It said Getty Lee and I don't know if I pronounced
John
that.
Entwistle. Both of those people play more than just the bass. John Entwistle plays the French horn. So
There you
like
go.
he's there. These people, you're not just if you tell me someone that plays bass and they do other stuff like they're writing songs and they're singing and they're musicians for all the other stuff. Just playing bass, if that's all you do, you're not a real musician. But it's only people that just play bass. And if you go ahead and if you can list this bass player off the top of your head, guaranteed that bass player does not just play bass.
What if they play the bass and the triangle? Is that a musician?
I am utterly unconvinced that percussion is music either. Percussion's percussion.
Wow.
Percussion is percussion.
Woo! He just said every drummer is not a real musician.
They're
you
a
heard it here
percussionist.
first,
No,
folks.
again, that's only if they only play drums, though, or only do percussion. Hey-oh!
Behave this time.
Thank you.
You better behave. Don't do it. Don't do it. I will turn you off if you do it. And what if people want to give us a 5th crisis party? Then we'd have to do that.
We're watching.
Yeah, but the lights are still
We're
going.
waiting.
The lights are still going.
I don't know why they're still
So
going.
is this a Streamlabs problem or something?
No.
We don't know what the problem is.
There we go.
Okay, it stopped. Pat the Plumber said, damn, Mary, calling Phil petite. This ain't the whatever podcast. Chill out.
That's very rude of you, Mary.
I'm sorry.
I didn't take offense.
Organized Business Services said, here I'm drinking beer now. $2 for less beer.
Condolences.
What? I don't know what that means. Not that John Stewart said hostage party. Let's go.
Well, we're in the middle of a little bit of a hostage party right now, especially if we got to 5 crisis parties.
Corey Anderson just said fart.
Very
Nice.
Very nice.
Then he said, Phil, what is your favorite non-All That Remains song?
I really don't do favorite songs. I mean, think about how many songs you've listened to and liked. But there's a lot of different stuff that I like. I like a lot of a bunch of different kind of stuff. Limp Bizkit, Sarah McLachlan, Tori Amos, all kinds of stuff.
Can't Knock the Hustle by Jay-Z and Mary J. Blige.
I love. Yeah, I mean, there you go. I love Jay-Z. I love Dr. Dre and Eminem and like a bunch of '90s rap. I love the Beastie Boys and Metallica. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff I like.
The War Is On by Bone Thugs and Harmony. I could go all through the 90s rap and give you favorite songs.
I wouldn't complain about any of it, probably.
DCNC said quiz, more bass players, Larry Graham, Mark King, level 42, Jaco Pastorius. I'm
not going to Google all these names, but again, I feel confident in my take that if you are going to list a bass player that is well known, they do not only play bass. They probably play more than one instrument.
Red-Nosed Rainderp said looking for a bass player who has only played bass is like looking for a lady of the night. I'm not reading the rest.
Who has only done what, Mary? No? Nah, nothing. Let's keep going.
Bucky Ducky said, Phil, there is only 3 films with stormtroopers, and they all prove me right. I have a video about it if you want the full bit, but you're wrong.
I don't.
He doesn't want the full bit.
I don't. I'm not going to fight with you about it.
Shane H. Wilder said, with all this bass talk, I'm going to have to do another Eternal Sunshine of the Based Mind. LOL.
There you go.
Tacky Platty said, sorry, Phil, don't know where the musician bassist thing came from, but I do know Slash, and he's amazing. What's the difference between guitar and bass?
2 strings and someone motivated enough to learn to use them.
Let's get a 5th crisis party, guys. If you think Phil's wrong about bass players, let's get a 5th crisis party.
Someone who's not such an imbecile.
Somebody who likes smart television shows, Mary, and good instruments.
DCNC said, we'll complain to Chris about the party ghosts. We'll tell him you were hating on gamer maids.
Don't do that. I don't want to get somebody mad at me. I don't know if it's his fault. Like I have it set up the way it needs to be set up. The way it's done through the automation is that the file has to be a certain length, right? And it can't go over or under that length. And I have it done perfectly, so I don't know why it does that every once in a while.
These things are hurting my ears. High Voltage 75 said, thanks PCC for keeping me company during a 4-hour plane ride. Traveling alone sucks.
Did you get free Wi-Fi? Were you flying Delta? Which I heard Delta does free Wi-Fi now.
No, it doesn't.
If you have T-Mobile, Delta definitely does free Wi-Fi.
But T-Mobile sucks.
But here's the thing.
Better than most. I got T-Mobile and
I had to switch off of it when I moved here.
Really?
I will tell you this. Flying with Wi-Fi is so preferable. It just, the flight goes by so much faster.
Absolutely.
But why don't you just not feed yourself content for a temporary period of time and just let yourself sit in the silence?
That's what sleeping is for.
Okay, so you're talking about 2 different things here. Like, I mean, if you're looking to make the flight go away, there's nothing better than Wi-Fi on the flight. if you're looking to have some me time and you want to do a little meditation or a little bit of self-reflection, then you probably shouldn't log
I
into
wouldn't do. I
Wi-Fi.
mean, even before that, I wouldn't do that anyways. I would just download podcasts beforehand and listen to those while on the flight. So I'm still feeding my brain muck either way.
Pat the Plumber said, favorite song, Scissor Fight, Roman Boxing Glove.
Cool.
Okay.
Scissor Fights is, if your favorite song is by Scissor Fight, that's hilarious.
Not That John Stewart said, Mary has ears, WTF, my immersion is broken.
It's like that episode of
ears.
The Mentalist when the lady who runs the division finally comes in the field and goes, "Hi, Tower. I didn't even know you had legs." 'Cause she's always behind a desk.
DCNC said, high voltage, did you demand a free fatty seat?
Damn, did you get the free seat? You know what the thing is about it though? Is it requires you don't get to ask for the free seat online. You gotta go in
You have to humiliate
person.
yourself face to face.
You gotta go in person.
I think
and
that's
do
a
that.
good trade-off.
It's a fair trade-off, I think. We're pretty close to that 5th crisis party. Will we get there before we do the outro? Only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. So before we go, assuming that we don't get the 5th crisis party, would you please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Remember, we are past 88,000 subscribers. I want to get to 90K before the new year, so go and subscribe. Phil, my friend, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Let everyone know where they can find you, buddy.
You can find me on Twix at Phil That Remains. On Instagram, I'm Phil That Remains Official. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, what else? Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, the internet.
The internet. Mary.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
And I'm still here waiting, wondering if we're going to get that 5th crisis party, but I'll go slow on the outro. Guys, we got one more here from Bucky Ducky. Says, he goes, 5th party, let's go. Also, Phil is wrong.
Phil with 2 L's.
Phil is not wrong. You spelled my name wrong.
What Phil is this? I don't know who they're talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Philistine? Not me. One more here from Courier626 for $5. He says, Merry Christmas. We're getting even closer
Merry
here, ladies and
Christmas.
gentlemen. So again, before we go, like I said, maybe we get the 5th crisis party, maybe we don't. But if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasvik on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would like to listen rather than watch. And if you would like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show. Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis. One more for $50 from Bucky, or from Not That John Stewart. Holy crap. Party? Yes, it will be a party. It's going to be a post-credit scene, so you guys should stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. We got another one here from Disco Jensen. He says, Hey, PCC Disco Jensen, you're resident magical. I'm not saying that word here. Merry Christmas. One here from DCNC. He says, tomorrow, last show until when? Yes, guys, tomorrow will be the last show until the new year. We will have segments and material coming out all through the week except for Christmas Day. We will have no content coming out Christmas Day, but we got some segments coming out. We got 3 separate days where we're going to have pop culture conspiracy videos where we go into these different pop culture conspiracies that have permeated the world for the last several years, so look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it'll be nice to have some time off. I may record, if something big happens, if there's a big story, I might record a video because I will be around, but it'll be nice to have a couple of days off. Bucky Ducky says, LOL, I'm illegitimate. I don't know how to, he goes, I don't know how to spell names. So Phil, he didn't know how to spell your name. And one more here from the Red Nose Rain Derp says, don't tell me how I spell Phil Matters, F-I-L-L. Corey Anderson says, this chat is the best on YouTube. I agree.
It's true.
I actually agree with that. It is the best chat on YouTube. We don't need mods because everybody's awesome. It's awesome. Bucky Ducky says, illegitimate. That means I can't read. Well, I can't read either right now because I'm trying to get through this all the best I can. DCNC says, hashtag justice for Mocha, justice for Magical Disco Jensen. There will be none of that either.
Phil has to make a dramatic exit.
Yes, he's going to make a dramatic exit.
I gotta let my dog out.
Miss Ray says, Merry Christmas, guys. The Red-Nosed Reindeer Derp says, you thought you were done? Well, it looks like we are now, buddy, guys. Look forward to that 5th crisis party in the post-credit scene. Corey Anderson says, Phil, how did you get into music after the core? Phil!
Yes.
How did you get into music after the core?
I played guitar before I was even in the Marine Corps.
He played guitar before he was even in the Marine Corps. To answer.
Yeah, like I played guitar before I was even in the Marine Corps. I started playing guitar at like 14. I gotta let my dog out. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
we got one more here. So he says he thought you were done. There's the crisis party. The Red-Nosed Rain Derp says no mods, no masters. Now we're almost at a 6th crisis party. I'm just waiting. We're like right there, Mary. What do you think?
Let's just wait.
We'll just wait. Are we going to get the 6th crisis party? Do you guys think that's going to happen? One more here from Potatoes for Shame. It says, conspiracy, I'm Seamus.
We already thought that, didn't we?
I completely
Potatoes
buy
for
that.
Seamus
See,
was
I
his
love
alt
the
account.
idea that there's like that Seamus has a sock puppet account to just watch our show.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to admit because like
he doesn't want to say he's a fan.
Yeah, he's like I'm a conservative. You're not really supposed to like pop culture. I just like so he has to.
We
come
need
up
to
with a
get him
fake
back
account.
on the show.
So the way he does it, he's like, you know how I get people to believe it without not believing it. He's like, look, I'll pretend to be someone named Seamus. That way they'll never guess that I'm Seamus. One more from DCNC says a Phil walkout for hating bassists. Yeah, he's gone now, so he can't. You're free to.
We'll title this Phil Rage Quits.
You're free to make fun of Phil now if you want because he's gone. So I don't know if you want to do that, but you're welcome to do that. But yeah, we'll just hang out here, Mary, until we get the 6th crisis party. I bet you somebody
That's okay.
ends up making
I'm not
it
in
happen.
a huge hurry to go see.
Well,
Aquaman.
technically we are in a hurry because we got to go see Aquaman. It says Baron of Gray Matter for $20. Says Merry Christmas all.
I'm gonna be late to Aquaman. Oh no!
What are we gonna do if we don't have to see all of Aquaman? $20 or $5 from Pedro says, Mary, you need a code word to let Bread know. I won't read this super chat. Read it yourself and we can move on. So no super chat joke will be excluded.
But Brett doesn't want to read all of them either.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
The Red-Nosed Rain Derp says 6 is the devil's number. Stop at 5. I'm not doing that. Cody Bedreau says, my sister and I love to party, and I'm not reading the rest of that.
Not that. John Stewart also said I was just ensuring the 5th one. Geez, guys.
Thank you. Bucky Ducky says, Brett, make sure I didn't offend Phil. I feel I may have gone a bit too far.
No, he's
gone
good
already, man. And Pat the
hard
Plumber
feelings.
says, are we there yet? Yes, we are there. Shane H. Wilder says, loud noises.
That's what a party always means.
We have done it. We have gotten to 6 crisis parties. So you guys, you're going to have to...
When is it going to go off, though?
Yeah, but they're going to have to hang... Yeah, it's going to be like 6 minutes from now, right? Because it's on the timer. If you guys don't know, the crisis party sound effect, it's on a loop timer. It constantly checks every 7 minutes for that. So we got one more here from DCNC says, every time Amber comes on screen, I stepped on a bee.
Why did she pronounce it like that?
I stepped on a bee. Well, because she's also writing...
Stepped on a bee. A bee.
Corey Anderson. I'm not reading that one. Sorry, buddy. Guys, we got the 6 crisis party. You're the best. We will be back with another episode, a holiday episode with special guest Aiden Mattis.
A holiday special.
It'll be a holiday special, guys. So we will be back with a special episode tomorrow. Then we will be off for the holidays. So stay tuned for the post-credit scene so you can see, so you can hear the crisis party. We'll see you soon, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
My dog stepped on a bee.